It is phenomenal to be along with you one more time again here on a lovely upstate Wednesday afternoon. Zoe, how do you do, sir?
All right, let's you and I make a deal. I will clean this side of the glass if you clean that side. If not, I'm going to start drawing snowmen.
It's gross.
Yeah, it's getting pretty bad.
And I feel like this is one of those spots, like you've heard the expression, you're telling on yourself. Like we're telling on ourselves a little bit.
But it's not entirely, it may not be projectile type stuff. It could be dust. And
the glass has
like
been
that.
Here since.
It's been a year.
Yeah.
At
well
least.
Over a year.
Yeah. So.
The problem is
we have a pretty good cleaning crew, but there are certain things they're not allowed to touch.
Yeah.
And this is next to the board, so they wouldn't be allowed to touch it.
Here's my brain is broken. Here's how my brain works, Lonzo, and anybody I've ever known will confirm this to you. I'll look at something and go, I need to do that. 7 seconds later, that thought is gone like a fart in the wind. It just never comes back to my attention.
I dare you to email engineering and see if Chris gets sent in here with some spray.
Hey guys, the glass needs to be clean, but I'm not comfortable bringing liquids around the board. Can y'all take care of this for me? Yeah, I'm not doing that to Captain America. Are you kidding me?
That's very good wording. I'd love to see him right now just cleaning the glass.
Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. What is up, everybody? Good to see you. Good to know that you here. I don't know, whatever. It's good to be with you. I am Rob. He is Lonzo. We're going to be busy on the broadcast today. I'm going to start. I'm going to start this. We're going to jump into the lunch breakdown in a minute. But if there is one thing that drives me over a wall more than anything else, it is somebody being smug with zero justification, right? Especially when that somebody is somebody that you like, right? Like it's somebody that you genuinely like.
I was going to apologize, then you got to that point, and I'm like, oh, okay, he's not talking about
me. It drives me crazy when somebody is smug with zero justification. It's unfortunate. And here's what I'm talking about. Yesterday, Kirk Herbstreit, who I like Herbie. All right. I like the guy. I think he does a good job. I think he's genuinely passionate about what he does.
Especially about his love for Clemson.
Okay. An Ohio State guy would say that. Everybody thinks Herbie hates their team. I've heard Ohio State. There are Ohio State, where he played football, Buckeye people who think he hates Ohio State. Like he doesn't have his Ohio State jersey and helmet on TV every time he does a shot.
By the way, I get that. I get him trying to purposefully go away from the school that he played for to not look like he has bias. But he does seem to like certain schools above others. And I think it has to do with friendships with coaches. But
sure.
That's just my opinion.
All right. So let's say whatever. Herbie, I like Herbie. I think he does a good job. I think he's passionate about what he talks about. However, I also think that Herbie has a passion to defend his ideal view of college football, right? Like I think to Herbie, college football is almost perfect. It's kind of like a situation where a parent has a kid who's a little punk, right? Like the kid sucks. The kid's just a jerk of a kid. But then you talk to the mom and then she's like, no, little Johnny's perfect.
That's my baby.
Yeah. Little Johnny's perfect. It is nothing wrong. And the teacher's going, little Johnny's shooting spitballs at me in class. And the PE coach is going, little Johnny's starting fights at PE. And the principals had to suspend little Johnny multiple times. The kid sucks. And yet when they approach the mom and they go, hey, little Johnny's got a problem and we need to fix little Johnny. The mom goes, there is nothing wrong with my sweet, sweet baby. He's just the best little boy. It's all of you that are wrong. It's all of you that are. It infuriates me, right? Because you're not looking at the reality of the situation. Here's what Herbie tweeted last night, and it got under my skin. Like, I very rarely react the way that I reacted last night. I was having a conversation with a couple of buddies, and I'm like, I like Herbie, but this is a bad take. Here's what Herb Street said on Twitter yesterday. He said, quote, after 7 years of blanking and complaining from a vocal minority that the CFP system is rigged and the small guy will never get a chance, all caps, haven't heard much from you last couple days. Everything okay? What's the next conspiracy theory? Can't wait, because that one is history. Herbie, undeserved smugness is not a good look on you, man. It's not a good look. Do you know why a small guy is in the CFP? Because the CFP had no other choice. They had no other choice at all. Cincinnati beat Notre Dame straight up, heads up on their turf. Beat Notre Dame this year. On top of that, Notre Dame did not have a conference championship attached to their name. And everybody else had 2 losses. There was not a team they could have jumped Cincinnati with. Now, we'll never know the answer to this question. But if Oklahoma State beats Baylor, I would bet you $1 to a donut they would have jumped Cincinnati with Oklahoma State. I would bet on it. We'll never know. We'll never get to find out. And of course, the CFP got a get out of jail free card by being able to say, nuh-uh, we wouldn't have done that. Because there's no way to prove that false. There's no way to falsify that. We'll never know. But had they not jumped Okie State over Cincinnati, it would have been the exception, not the rule, and the first time that exception happened. This smug take from Herb Street is garbage.
You keep saying smug take, and I obviously not a very smart person. Can you explain to me how you can tell it's smug by how it's written? I mean, did he use caps in certain places? Is there things that, how do you just picture him with a smirk on his face as he's writing this? I mean,
Herbie said, he started the quote with, after 7 years of blanking, and it's a word that rhymes with this. All right? You don't say that somebody is this. I'm scratching my skin because it itches. And you take a complaint that they have and you say that that person is with a B on the front end of it. You are dismissing their complaint as irrelevant. You are downgrading their complaint and saying, this to me is not a genuine complaint. You are just blanking right now.
See, and
that's the first part.
I don't use that word, but I've heard people use it all the time about anyone who complains about anything,
Sure.
And it seems to be just a common way of saying something too much into it.
Have you ever heard anybody use that word for a complaint that they took seriously? You have never heard anybody say, this person is blanking about this, and it's really important to me that it gets fixed. No, you use that word when you are dismissing someone's complaining. When you are saying they're complaining about something that is small or irrelevant or that you don't care about. Nobody ever says, man, he went down to HR and was blanking about harassment, right? Because that's what that word implies. Then, after his all caps run, he says, haven't heard much from you last couple days. Everything okay? ? Dripping with so much sarcasm that I had to shake it off of my phone after reading that tweet.
See, I saw being this way with this and reading too much into this, and because he tends to do that, but I'm surprised that you're doing it. Because Diesel finds this kind of stuff all the time to be offended by. And I just think you're taking it too personal, as if he's talking to you. So if you on the same lines, if you get really upset about something that someone tweeted to the point where you're making it a segment, it almost seems like you think that he's talking directly to you.
He is. And millions of Rob Brown show followers.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Millions of us.
All right. I can't deny that.
Yeah. There's millions of us. He is absolutely talking directly to me because I'm that guy. Yes, he is talking directly to me, but he's also talking to millions of other people around the country that feel the same way that I do about it.
And all these people, and I'm not gonna group you in there with everyone because I don't want to do that. But all these people will be shutting up after Cincinnati gets destroyed because they don't belong there.
I am gonna give
they don't.
I'm gonna give daps to Mark Ryan again. This is 2 days in a row. Am I okay? I think I need to see a doctor.
I will say I'm not okay with it.
Yeah,
but,
I need to see a doctor. Mark made a good point. You know what the average?
By the way, a lot of good points.
He does,
but it's kind of.
You know what the average margin of victory for the Alabama Crimson Tide over Power 5 teams in the college football playoffs is? 21.5 points. They beat everybody they play in the college football playoffs by 3 touchdowns on average. So if Cincinnati loses by 21 points, so have a lot of other Power 5 teams. So it's going to, if they lose by 42 points, like I think they might, then we're going to go, okay, they didn't belong there. And that's all well and good. But believing that somebody doesn't have it in them to take advantage of an opportunity is not a good reason not to give them the opportunity when they have.
Same hype we heard about Notre Dame. Oh yeah, Notre Dame's for real, even though they didn't play anybody a couple years ago.
We just block Notre Dame out of the
and they get destroyed.
Yeah, to go. They got destroyed last year. Should we lock them out now?
There are teams. This is a year-by-year basis for the most part, but there are teams.
Why does Cincinnati not?
There are teams that just don't belong there, and Cincinnati doesn't belong there. They don't.
That is a very elitist standpoint.
It's not an elitist standpoint. It's a realistic something you like.
I do like
being real.
Yes. Every measurable statistic.
Who did they beat?
Who did
they beat? Notre Dame.
Clemson beat?
Notre Dame. We're not talking.
Do we lock up? Who'd they beat last year deserve to go in?
Clemson was, until this year, an elite team.
I didn't
Cincinnati
on Herb Street side.
Cincinnati. Belong in the top 4.
They beat a 2-loss Notre Dame team.
They don't belong there.
Sorry, they beat a 1-loss Notre Dame team.
They don't belong there. I would rather see the 4 best teams, not.
You don't know they're not one. You will say definitively today they are not one of the top 4 teams.
They are not one of the top 4 teams in the country.
Give me anything to believe on that.
They haven't played anybody.
They beat Notre Dame in their house.
They beat what?
And they get to go.
They don't belong.
To me, the standpoint.
It hurts me to defend her.
Out. Who gets to go? Notre Dame, the team they beat?
No.
Or then who? Which 2-loss team deserves to go more than an undefeated conference champion?
There's got to be
Oklahoma State, who lost in the Big 12 championship.
There's got to be another 1-loss team.
For me. Find me a 1-loss team that you would bet money on beating Cincinnati today. While you do that, I'll finish this take. You tell me who it is that you would put in over Cincinnati to prove that they are not one of the best 4. All right. Now, cycle that back to what Herb said.
Okay, what's your name?
Herbie, you in the college football playoffs do not get credit for doing the right thing when you had no other choice. If you rob a bank 5 times and the 6th time you go into a bank, there is a cop there and you don't rob the bank, you don't get to go outside and go, hey, everybody, I didn't rob the bank today. No. because you don't get credit for doing the right thing because you were forced to do it. You had no other option. There's nobody else. There's nobody else you could have justified jumping Cincinnati with. Nobody you could have justified jumping them with. And because there was nobody you could have justified, you had to put Cincinnati in. You don't get credit, and you don't get to be smug and go, hey, all you little people out there who are complaining that the CFP's system is rigged and the small guy never gets a chance. We gave him a chance. You didn't have a choice. You have given no other small team a chance when there have been other undefeated conference champions, and you have put multiple one-loss teams ahead of them. You had no choice but to do the right thing this year. And because you had no choice, you don't get to come on Twitter and talk to me like I'm some kind of idiot conspiracy theorist.
I'm just curious. Do you think Cincinnati could beat Oklahoma State?
Without their starting running back like Baylor did, yes. I think Cincinnati's better than Baylor.
Do you think they could beat Baylor? Okay.
Yeah,
so you think they could beat Oklahoma?
I think, I think they could beat Oklahoma.
You think they could beat Ohio State?
No.
Okay.
I don't.
All right. So there, I found a team without me actually saying that first.
How many losses Ohio State got?
2.
I'm not jumping them. Because we don't make it based on what's on paper.
But you missed the point. And the point was best. So you're saying Cincinnati.
There are two sides to the coin. One is what they put on paper and one's what they put on the field, right? One is what half of it is on paper. To me, half of it's on paper, half of it's on the field. Ohio State did not make their conference championship. They lost twice. Cincinnati did, won twice, and the only way to find out if they believe is to put them on the field and let's see it happen. If Ohio State was a one-loss team, Lonzo, that's a one-loss team. I would have accepted jumping Cincinnati. If you didn't lose to Michigan and you won the Big Ten, you'd have been in there.
Yeah, but I was going to say they'd be at number 2 or number 1 if they did that where Michigan is. So we'd still
sure,
be
still flop.
We'd still be having this discussion. Right. It would just be a different person.
It'd just be Michigan instead.
It would be Ohio State where Michigan is. Right. Yeah. So
the point is, Herbie, you didn't have a choice but to do the right thing this year. So don't come out and accept your tiara and your necklace of roses and pat yourself on the back for how great of a decision you made when you had no other options on the table. Your only option was to do the right thing this time. So don't pull an oblique, patting yourself on the back, and being a smug jackwagon to the rest of us.
Yeah, I know I should know, but where's the oblique at exactly? Because
it's over this way.
Okay, so yeah. All right, okay.
Kevin is on the phone. Let's get Kevin in here to talk a little college football playoff. Kevin, welcome to the show, buddy. Thanks for taking the time.
What's going on, Robbo?
Hanging out, brother. How you doing?
Oh, man, I'm chilling, man. I'm with you, dog. Cincinnati, I mean, you got to put them there. And I haven't heard a lot of people say this, and they might have because I know I don't get to catch everything. But their last loss was to Georgia last year by a few points. So if you lose to Georgia by a few points, and then you go undefeated this year, this is your chance. You almost had a chance last year. I felt like they should have been in it last year. I'm an underdog guy, but at the same time, I can see if it was like in my feelings of all feelings. In a few years, I'm gonna say the top 4, App State and Cincinnati gonna still be in this thing. I want it to be that way anyway because App State plays hard, Cincinnati play hard. Why not give them boys a chance to either get embarrassed or go out there and embarrass somebody? And I feel like Cincinnati going to embarrass Alabama this year.
I think if I recall correctly, I could be wrong. I want to say Alabama opened as like a 13.5-point favorite, which, by the way, as I pointed out to Zoe a minute ago, Kevin, Alabama wins the college football playoff games they're in by an average of 21 points. So if Cincinnati's within 13, that's actually a better performance than most Power 5 schools have given Alabama in the college football playoffs and in national championship bursts during the Nick Saban era.
And I think they're going to give Alabama a headache, too. I'm telling you, Michigan going to beat Georgia. Cincinnati going to beat Alabama. Cincinnati gonna beat Michigan in the national championship.
Listen, my man, got some
Call me
optimism.
crazy. I might need to go get a jacket or two. But this is just what I feel.
Kevin, good to talk to you, big fella. Appreciate the call, man. Thank you very much.
By the way, I just want to point out, I hope he's right. I do. But chances are, if we look at how things are, Alabama destroys Cincinnati, and the smugness that you're talking about now becomes even greater because they say, see, this is what you wanted. Right. This is what you're going to get. So the only way.
No, I disagree. If Cincinnati gives Bama a game, they will have done better than most Power 5 teams do.
That's competes.
Yeah, right. I'm saying if they give them a game, right? If they're inside the Vegas betting line at the end of that game, if they're inside the Vegas line, then I think at that point you have to say Group of 5 teams deserve a chance because they will have outperformed most Power 5 teams. By the way,
so what are you?
Power 5 teams, but one of the best 4 Power 5 teams every year, Cincinnati will have outperformed them if they're inside the Vegas line. If they beat by 40, I'll shut the hell up.
So when we do our picks, you're going to pick Alabama not to cover.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I didn't say that. But I'd also like to point out that, you know who else I wouldn't pick? You know who else I don't know if I'd pick to cover or not? Georgia or Michigan or Oklahoma State or Oklahoma or Notre Dame or any other team, because Alabama hit 5th gear in that game against Georgia, and they look like Bama again. It sucks, and this is part of the reason that I'm really furious that Cincinnati went to 4 instead of bumping up to 3. They did this on purpose. I'll finish that thought when we come back. My name is Rob. He's Lonzo, and it is heated already, baby. That's what we do on the Rob Brown Show. Hot Take Express, son.
Shock jock.
It's ESPN Upstate.
Lights.
The Upstate's favorite holiday tradition is a go. The 2021 Upstate Holiday Light Show is at the Greenville Pig and Speedway. And if you have not gotten the opportunity to go adventure through the 32 million lights, the petting zoo, the carnival rides, the concessions, this is the perfect year to make it happen. Load up the cheering, throw them in the back of the car, load you up a thermos with some hot chocolate, and ride out there and watch as 32 million lights blaze up the sky. Watch as they dance to the music of your favorite holiday classics. Watch and enjoy an incredible Christmas event that you and your kids will absolutely want to make your new holiday tradition moving forward. Trust me on this. You are going to love it. Go to upstateholidaylights.com. Check out the website. Not only get tickets there, but you can get a fast pass. It's popular. People get lined up in this. You get the fast pass. Breeze on past the line, head on straight in to the Upstate's favorite holiday tradition, the 2021 Upstate Holiday Light Show.
Panthers and Falcons each sit record of 5-11 in many ways. For the Score app today, lightning fast sports alerts so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular sports apps. For ESPN Upstate Sports Center update, I'm Matt Pauley.
It's not like that. That's funny though.
February 5th and February 19th. 4-game packs starting at just $40 individual game. On sale. All the information at FurmanPowledens.com. Well, Furman basketball returning to down. Mobile is reinvent new wireless again. Get unlimited on 2+ lines for $29.99 a month per line. No contracts, no added taxes or fees. Includes nationwide 5G. Save up to 60% with Spectrum Mobile. Get unlimited on 2+ lines for $29.99 a month. Call 855-438-2999 or visit the store near you. Offer valid for new customers.
You ever thought of going with the Tony Khan
Somebody asked a
hairstyle?
wrestling question. Do
Yeah,
it.
that's what I was laughing about
Yeah.
a second ago. You ever thought about going with the Tony Khan hairstyle? I think you could pull it off. Just let everything go up there.
There's no curl to my hair.
Oh,
it
okay.
just. You know who Matt Mercer is, the DM guy. If I let my hair grow out, like just straight, this is literally what it turns into.
By the way, I have no problem with that, but
I had hair down to about probably almost to my shoulder when I was in college at one point. And the only reason I've never gone back is that from here to here, it's very awkward. It's a very awkward look. Like I either have to spend literally half an hour a day doing my hair, or I just look like the world's largest kid with no parents helping him. And then once it gets out this long, for my hair, the maintenance on it gets freaking ridiculous. Like, because it grows fast. And
by the way, I understand. I'm either here or I'm where I am now because if I get it cut too short, it all curls up.
Yep.
And I look like a little lad who loves berries and cream.
Hair starts to sweep. It doesn't curl, but it sweeps. And so when it gets to here, I look like I have like a messed up bad Beatles haircut. And what ends up happening, inevitably once a year, is I get to a point where it like starts to get to where I have to sweep it back. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to grow it back out long. And then 6 months later, I schedule a haircut to get trimmed. I get in the chair and I'm just like, cut it. Do it before I second guess it. Cut it.
Stoneman keeps talking about, and I wish he would do it again. I would want to see, you ought to see pictures of him with the, it just kind of reminds you of, did you see Hot Tub Time Machine?
So that, yeah.
So when they're looking in the mirror, what's his name's hair looks like?
Yeah.
That's what Stoneman looks like because he's about the same height and everything.
I absolutely want him to do it.
Rob Conroy. What's that guy's name? I forget his name. The comedian. He's raunchy. The bald one. The one.
Rob Corddry?
Yeah. I knew it was a Rob something. See, we threw you for a loop, Steven. We went with hair instead of wrestling. It's because of you. I also want to point out, you can have heated debate without anger. It is possible. It's,
You can have anger in a debate, but not it be personal. Couple of texts that have come in on 71307. Start your text with ESPN. We're on the air. One says, Rob, please be easy with Lonzo today. He has a headache that made him forget about SpaceX. You have a headache that just blanks part of your memory?
Yeah, I thought it was a trick question. And I have, when you have a headache that's just like at one point, and it feels like you're taking a dagger to that one point. Well, that's what I have going on right now.
And here I am yelling like an idiot.
No, it's okay. You always yell. I'm used to it.
Texter, if you take Cincinnati out, who do you put in? Notre Dame, the team they beat? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They didn't have a choice. There was no option for them to put in. If they put in anybody but Cincinnati this year, they tip their cards, right? If they put anybody else, they effectively just outright tell you, yeah, it's never going to happen. Texter, let's see. I can't believe Herbie said that. Cincinnati is one of the best 4 teams. Who is better behind them? Sounds like a bunch of Ohio State fans crying. I didn't take this as Herbie protecting Ohio State because I will say this about Herb. Herb does put the overall sport of college football ahead of Ohio State. I'll give him that. He puts his faith in college football above Ohio State, and I respect it. Of course, he does it because he's got a 7-figure paycheck attached to it. still does it, and I respect it. Michigan J. Todd, not saying this is going to happen, but what is Herbie and Lonzo's argument if Cincinnati beats Alabama? Do they belong then?
I will tell you, they absolutely belong then, and I will be cheering. By the way, I'm not against Cincinnati. I'm just saying they haven't played anybody, and here's what I'm worried. I'm worried about them going in and embarrassing themselves and everybody who wants them in by going and getting spanked. And you could say, well, it was Alabama. They're going to do that to everybody. But if they go in and they don't show up, they look like a Division II team in there. That's what I'm worried about. I want them to be one of the top 4. I absolutely do. I do. It would be an amazing thing for Luke Fickell to lead that team to a championship. Or why would I not want that? I'm just trying.
You have the opportunity to have it, and you're trying to talk it out.
No, I am looking ahead a week.
If I hand you a button right now that you can push and take Cincinnati to the playoffs, you doing it? You just push this red button. Cincinnati's out of the playoff. I'll replace them. You pushing the button?
No.
So you think they deserve a shot?
No. Here's what I want. I want them to prove everybody wrong, including me. I want them to prove me wrong. So I can come and say, hey, I was wrong. Cincinnati. I think everybody behind them doesn't look at the repercussions if they lose. If they look really, really bad, then it proves the people who say they don't belong right.
Let's see, another text. Michigan J. Todd checking in. Todd says, not saying this is going to happen, but what is Herbie's in the... Oh, no, sorry. We read that one. Here's another text, ESPN. The committee is making them play Alabama to shut the fans up. If they are destroyed, and they will be, they will rub it in the face of fans.
But see,
I told you so. It'll never happen again.
That's dumb. Because if you don't think they belong, and I'm one of the people who don't. Yes. It doesn't matter which of the 3 they play. Why is it different if they so what this person is saying and other people are saying, and it seems like you're saying, is that they put them against Alabama. So
I agree with you, except for in this case it does. Not because of football reasons.
So
on the field reasons. It matters for reasons of perception. Because Cincinnati's not just playing for Cincinnati this year. Cincinnati is playing for every group of 5 team that runs undefeated, has an impressive year, wins their conference championship, goes 13-0 until we have expanded playoffs, right? They're playing for all of those teams, all the teams in the future that meet what Cincinnati did this year. And if they go out there and play, does anybody think Alabama's not the best team in the country right now? I still think Georgia on paper is a better team, but at the end of the day, Alabama's the best on-the-field football team in the country right now. If they go out there, and this is what this text is saying, if they go out there and they lose by 21 points, right? People are going to say, see, they didn't deserve to be there, which I get, except for Alabama has beat everybody in the college football playoffs that they've played by 21 points on average. So if Cincinnati and the Power 5 teams don't deserve to be there because they lost by 21, Notre Dame never deserves to go back, right? Because you said it's year by year, and that's fine, except for if there's a Cincinnati next year, whether it's Cincinnati or anybody else, if there's a Cincinnati next year, when it comes time to go to the Final Four, you are going to have people in that playoff room who are going to go, wait. We did it with Cincinnati last year and they failed. We're not going to do that again. But they don't do that with Notre Dame. They don't do that with Clemson. They don't do that with Ohio State. All teams who have been blown out in a playoff game or a college championship, they don't use that same line of rationale with any other team but they will do it with Cincinnati, even if Cincinnati performs to the same level as Notre Dame has done, getting blown out by 21 plus, as Clemson has done, getting blown out by 21 plus, as Ohio State has done, as every other team that's not Alabama has done, gotten blown out in a championship semifinal or final. Nobody has ever said, you know what? We tried with Notre Dame. We gave Notre Dame a chance, but they failed spectacularly, so they never get to go back. But they will absolutely do that to Cincinnati and absolutely hold that Cincinnati performance this year against Bama. They will hold it against everybody else. Do you think Michigan is as good as Alabama? I think Michigan's good. I don't think they're as good as Alabama. Georgia has already proven that they are not as good as Alabama. Yes, I would have rather seen, for my own selfish desire, Cincinnati play Michigan or Georgia in round one.
I don't understand why. Because a week ago, you and I both. So, championship every year. They don't. They are in the championship every year, it seems like, but they don't win every year. It doesn't matter who Cincinnati plays. And you just talked about what my fear is if they get whipped, then they're going to say, see, you don't belong. But why does it matter if it's Alabama that does it? If it's Michigan that does it, if it's Georgia that does it, it's still the same situation. If they get their butts whipped by whoever they're playing in the playoff, people are going to say, see, they didn't belong.
Right, which sucks because that's a line of thinking that, again, they
but
don't
that's
apply.
all. But that's because of that, and you just agreed to. I don't understand. Well, see, they're putting them against that. It doesn't matter. I think any of those three teams are going to whip Cincinnati,
Hey,
and I hope I'm wrong.
If Jake Paul, if Jake Paul's trying to prove to himself,
how far down have we gone if you're doing this?
If he's trying to prove that he's a professional boxer, right? He's trying to prove he's a professional boxer, and he's going to actually fight some real, actual boxers. If he goes up against Tyson Fury and gets KO'd in the third round, does everybody go, that guy doesn't ever deserve to fight again? No, because he's up against the King of Kings.
By the way, if he goes up against Tyson Fury and makes it to the third round.
Yeah, I'd be impressed.
Yeah, I mean.
But you get the point, right? No, but if he goes up against the 5th ranked heavyweight, if he's going to fight at heavyweight, I'm trying to come up with an analogy on the fly here. If he goes up against the 5th or 6th ranked heavyweight.
He could eat a lot.
And he performs, then we go, hey, kid's got a chance. Kid's got a chance. We're putting Cincinnati up against the King of Kings, Nick Saban. And if they lose by 21, even though every other team that's gone up, almost every other team that's gone up against Bama has done the exact same thing, no group of 5 team will ever get another chance because the perception matters more than what happens on the field in this one case.
What I think is funny, and I guarantee this will happen, that if Cincinnati upsets Alabama and we come in, see, Lonzo, you were wrong. See how stupid you are? And I already said, I hope they do it. I just don't believe they can.
All right, 844-477-3776, 844-GSP-ESPN. I got a bunch more texts. We will run through those when we come back on the Rob Brown Show. Rob Alonzo, you, it's ESPN Upstate. Ooh. Did not expect. I mean, like the whole week's gone by, but we're 41 minutes deep in the show. I feel like I just sat down.
I would say don't
jinx it, but correct him, Lonzo. Cincinnati is not the King of Kings. Jesus is. I'm not making fun of the words. I'm making fun of how seriously that got taken as a statement. And no, Triple H is the King.
See, I knew.
In a song. Okay.
Expected to be out the next 10 days. That likely sidelines him for 2 games. That would be Sunday against NFC East leading Dallas and the following week against Philadelphia. Meanwhile, Washington tight end Logan Thomas' season is over, but on injured reserve for a second time this season with a knee injury. Seahawks star safety Jamal Adams needs season-ending surgery to repair a torn labrum in his left shoulder.
It's hard to beat Stathakis on that, Steven. He's fast.
This is really exciting stuff. Regenerative restorative treatments that actually encourage your body to heal itself using highly concentrated natural biologics. Patients are raving about it for hip pain relief, knee pain relief, shoulder and back pain relief. Don't let them keep giving you steroids, and don't let them tell you surgery is your only option. Get a free second opinion at QC Kinetics. Do it now and imagine life in 2022 without pain. Call the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics now. 864-448-3772. 864-448-3772. That's 864-448-3772.
In this market, they find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Fisher is different. Don't you just ride the wave?
No, we actively manage client portfolios based on our forward-looking views of the market. In times like these, we understand that clients want proactive communication and guidance.
You don't.
Got to be quicker on the draw, Steven.
We even offer resources on Social Security, Medicare, tax efficiency, and more. Our primary goal is to help them achieve a comfortable retirement.
But you still sell investments that generate high commissions, right?
No, we don't sell commission crowds. Fisher Investments is a fiduciary, the highest standard. For
Looked up for a second. I could have swore that was Tim Tebow boxing, but it wasn't.
Did Gargano walk away last night? I didn't watch it.
You'll have to wait till Twitter trending topics.
Okay,
Stop it.
Okay.
All right, I will tell you because it's one of those where we don't know.
Okay.
Because he was,
I saw I got jumped.
his speech never got
He's not
finished.
leaving. If he got jumped, he's not leaving.
Yeah, usually that's not how that
Might take
works.
some time off for his.
Although
Candace is pregnant, right?
yeah, and he talks about how he's, February is when she's due, and there are a lot of pictures that I just saw of him and Kyle O'Reilly hugging each other and stuff, and both being out in the ring at the same time. And I don't know. As soon as he got jumped, that's what I was thinking. Okay, he's not going
Yeah.
anywhere. But Kyle O'Reilly also
Kind of
Yeah.
came out and tipped his cap, didn't he?
no, he got beat up in a cage and left like hanging on the ropes. I think NXT may have decided, you know what, we're just going to be violent. Could be a way to go. Who knows? Looks like he's walking okay. Show Tiger with his son. I think that's current. It might not be.
All right, let's run through some texts real quick that have come in because the text line is hot. Text us on the Ingles Market text line at 71307. Hurricane Jeff says, Rob, like I said yesterday, you do not need to justify your actions to those Twitter trolls and email trolls and text trolls. You and Lonzo do a spectacular job, and you don't need to defend anything that you do. Keep up the great work. This is not a troll. This is Kirk Herbstreit, right? Like, I probably would have had less of a reaction to this if this was the guy who runs your local university message board, right? But this is arguably the most prominent face in college football, right? If I was to go out on the street and ask 10 people who the face of college football media is, I'd guess probably more than 5 of them would say Kirk Herbstreit. So I kind of have to react to that. Hey, Zoe, last time I checked, the Rose Bowl ain't crap anymore, so don't be hating on the Cheez-It Bowl. Go Big Blue. Texture says Lonzo fills out his bracket chalk. Boo. At ESPN, is there an upstate Capital One Bowl Mania League? We might set a bowl pick 'em up for the Rob Brown show and ESPN Upstate. We might do that. As we talked to Joe Giglio yesterday, I love picking bowl games.
Well, don't put my name in it because apparently I just go chalk. So what's the point? What's the point?
Texture says my team isn't in it, so I'm on the Cincinnati bandwagon train. Texture says Lonzo is spitting nonsense. Cincinnati would have a much better chance against Michigan or Georgia. I agree with that.
And
I think they're underdogs to both, but they'd have a better chance.
Yeah, I don't. I think they're going to get whipped by any of the teams they play. And I hope they don't. I hope they win the whole thing. Like our caller earlier said, I'll go get a Bearcat jersey. I mean, I'd be so excited about that. But I just don't. I'm being the Rob Brown realist over here and saying, no, it's not going to happen.
It's a good feeling, isn't it?
No, it's
a
not.
good feeling.
It's not. I never.
All right. Texas says, Rob, if you forgot about the shellacking that Clemson put on Alabama in the national championship game.
By the way, Ohio State beat Alabama in the very first playoff and went on to win the.
Yeah, that was what, 2014?
Yeah, and went on to win the first national championship as far as that goes. So Alabama loses. They make it there and they do lose. But
but you'll also notice, Texter, that what I said was that not that Alabama beats they average that much as a victory. 38-0 over Michigan in the Cotton Bowl. In the national championship, they got by Clemson the first time in 2016, 45-40. In the Peach Bowl in 2016, they beat Washington 24-7. They did end up losing to Clemson in the national championship 31-35. Sugar Bowl over Clemson 24-6. They beat Georgia by 3 that year. Against Oklahoma in the Orange Bowl in 2018, 45-34. They got shellacked by Clemson in the 2019 championship. But since then, in the Citrus Bowl, 31-14 over Michigan. They killed the Buckeyes last year, 52-24. The average score. What I'm saying is we don't look at Ohio State, who lost 52-24.
Ugly.
And go.
Shut them down.
Right. We don't go, Oklahoma State got beat 52-24. We tried it with them. They are not welcome back. But they will do that with Cincinnati and all group of 5 teams moving forward. That's my problem. That's my issue.
Until the 12-team playoff happens, and then it won't matter.
Great.
Yeah.
Which is at right now, 5 seasons from now. 5. And even then, maybe it'll still be a problem because what if we have 2?
Well, Rob, with as fast as this week has went for us, 5 years will be over in no time.
Streaming, seriously. Let's see. Texas says, I distinctly remember this conversation 5 years ago in 2016 and 2 years later in 2018 after losing about a team that shouldn't be there and who was going to get stomped. Just replace the name Cincinnati with Clemson because same things were said. Oh, they don't play anybody, etc. Yeah, that's a great point.
Clemson is on a different level than Cincinnati. Clemson is so much better.
Texas says this is probably with a 4-team setup. Cincinnati deserves to be there because they're the only undefeated team in the top 4. If the committee would have Michigan number 1, Cincinnati would have a better chance to win. But you're right. If they get blown out, no group of 5 will get a chance until the playoffs.
Okay. Again, if they were playing Michigan, it would be the same result. If they were playing Georgia, same result. Everyone is hungry. Well,
They are. And in the SEC championship game, they look like the best team in the country. They shellacked Georgia. All right. So I think it matters. I think it's a conversation that matters. Absolutely not the face of college football. Nick Saban is the face. And that's why I believe I said college football media. I think I specified. But if I did not, face of college football media, right? When I say, who do you watch to cover college football on Saturdays? It's College Game Day and it's Kirk Herbstreit, right? And finally, Alabama could lose 4 regular season games and they would still find a way to put Alabama in. I absolutely suspect that Greg Sankey was sitting in his office pulling for Alabama last Saturday, if only to get 2 SEC teams in. Take a break. Back after this, the wrap-up hour 1 of the Rob Brown Show right here on ESPN Upstate. Damn, I thought I brought us back. My bad, everybody. If you see that, click us off.
I can't. It will let me do some things, but I can't. If I take over, then the sound comes over here.
Gotcha. All right, wrapping up the first hour of the show. Your thoughts are still welcome at 844-GSP ESPN Texas on the English Market text line. It's 71307. I got a couple more scorching hot takes for you coming up in the next hour. I know you're excited. I am. You should be. It really is going to be a killer hour. And if it goes by as fast as this one, I'll see you in 5 minutes for hour number 2. I'm Rob. He's Lonzo. This is ESPN Upstate.
I was going to say, we tried to run it over here before, and the sound doesn't sound right.
That's right. Okay. Yep,
So I'm
right.
afraid I'll take over if I do that. That's why I don't want to do that. All right, you were saying?
I forgot to do Faces and Heels yesterday, so we're going to do that in the third hour today.
Okay.
Recently, but just a little bit. They've announced that they have activated Daryl Johnson off of injured reserve to the 53-man roster, so they get a little more special teams and defensive depth back onto the roster. He has been out with a hamstring injury. He has not played since the Week 4 loss to the Cowboys. He's played 10 defensive snaps and 13 special team snaps for Carolina this year. They're going into a matchup against the Atlanta Falcons this Sunday. Panthers and Falcons each sit with a record of 5-7. In many ways, this game kind of feels like a playoff contest. Download the Score app today. Lightning fast sports alerts, so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular sports apps. With your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update, I'm Matt Pauley.
Have you heard the Rob Brown Show?
An autographed picture of shoeless Joe Jackson sold for almost $1.5 million, the most ever paid for a signed sports autographed shoeless Joe Jackson.
Yeah, they Harley in the first break.
The GSP, but right downtown, you can find the shoeless Joe Jackson Museum, and in there you will find a young man by the name of Dan Wall. He is the executive director of the museum. Because he was illiterate, he didn't really ever sign his name. His wife signed the majority of his autographs. You've got maybe a question mark about this?
Oh, there's no question mark. That picture was not signed by Joe Jackson. There are about 10 instances or so of Joe actually signing his name. They were all on legal documents towards the end of his life. So we know beyond a shadow of a doubt what Joe's version of his own signature looks like. The signature that's on the photo that sold last night is nothing like those signatures.
Hey, Greenville, Spartanburg. Catch the Rob Brown Show weekdays noon to 3 on ESPN Upstate.
Sunday on Compass Media Network's coverage of the NFL. It's a crucial Week 14 showdown of our nation's capital as Washington football team hosts the Dallas Cowboys. Hi, this is Jerry Ricco. Join Kevin Ray, Danny White, myself for all the action as these two longtime NFC East foes square off. Can Dak and the Cowboys earn another tough road victory, or will Washington make up ground in the standings? It's the Cowboys and the Washington football team. If it's the NFL, it's right here. Sunday afternoon at 12:30. The NFL plays here on ESPN Upstate.
And check this out. For an official Rob Brown lockdown.
Represents being real.
Real, unfiltered sports talk manufactured locally for the Carolinas. This is the Rob Brown Show.
Yeah.
Only on ESPN.
And away we go. Hour number 2 of the Rob Brown Show already underway. My goodness gracious, the shows have been flying by this week. I am Rob. Lonzo is at the control board. Thank you very much for being a part of the show. You know, I thought about this yesterday, and I want to clarify. We talked a lot of college football in the last hour. We're going to keep that going here because I think we're very close. I'm not saying we're there. I think we're very close to next season being a very sad football season in the state of South Carolina. Let's look at the 3 big teams, right? South Carolina, Clemson, and the Carolina Panthers. We're going to ask Rashad Beard of the Panther Nation podcast this tomorrow, but any of y'all optimistic about next season under Matt Rule? if Matt Rule makes it to next season, right? Anybody optimistic? The firing of Joe Brady, I told you yesterday. The firing of Joe Brady, I think, was a desperation move from Matt Rule to save his life. Because he knows what we know, which is David Tepper falls in love very quickly, but he falls right back out of it. And when he falls out of love, he's got no qualms about kicking you to the curb, no matter how much money is wrapped up, right? He did it with Teddy Bridgewater, brought Teddy B in, gave him a decent contract. Teddy Bridgewater was okay. Kicks him to the curb, paying him $7 million to quarterback the Denver Broncos this year. Brings in Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold goes on the IR. He's like, bring in Cam. Calling Cam. Which means, I suspect, Sam Darnold's time's probably done in Carolina. I don't see them switching back to him when he comes off the IR. And Joe Brady, who a lot of folks, myself included, thought potentially would be the next big thing at the OC spot in the National Football League. And by the way, let me reiterate one more time again. What is going wrong in Carolina is not the fault of Joe Brady's offense. Joe Brady's offense is not at fault here. In fact, I saw yesterday on Twitter, there was a guy who covers the Carolina Panthers who tweeted out a video of a pass play under Cam Newton. And the pass play just falls apart, right? Sorry, it was from earlier in the year under Sam Darnold. Pass play just falls apart. There's a snap, and within a second, there are not one, not two, not three, but four different Dallas Cowboys in the face of Sam Darnold. Here, I'll even let Lonzo watch this play along with me. There's four Dallas defensive linemen. All right, we're in a shotgun formation with Darnold and Hubbard back there. Watch how fast, just like that. 1, 2, 3, 4 guys. Look at this pocket for Darnold. It's not big enough for a person. 4 Cowboys in his face. 1 guy was able to block successfully. I don't care if you have the most brilliant football mind in America as your offensive coordinator. No quarterback successful in that spot. All right? Just not. Doesn't matter what scheme you got. Pro style, run first, RPO, option. Doesn't matter what you got. If your quarterback is getting ramsacked like that off the snap, it doesn't matter who the offense coordinator is.
I was going to say, here's how I would fix it. I would fire Joe Brady. That'll take care of the problem right there. And suddenly the line will block and things will be okay.
Yeah, that's how it works. Get rid of the OC. Suddenly the offensive line you've built doesn't suck. Suddenly all the money that you have wrapped up in a running back that has played 10 of the last, 26 games? That goes away and you can sign more guys.
Well, a fresh new philosophy near the end of the season will cause guys to really be into it and play better.
Oh, yeah, sure. I mean, maybe there's a spark, right? Because now if I'm on the team, I'm looking and going, oh, they will fire anybody, right? Joe Brady was one of the most sought-after prizes on the college football coaching ranks from 2 years ago. After he put together the Joey B. LSU year in 2019, one of the most sought-after free agent coaches in America. And you landed him as the offensive coordinator. There were colleges that were going to make him head coach. You landed him as the offensive coordinator. And you think the scheme's bad, Matt Rule? Scheme's not bad. Matt Rule's desperate. Because he knows that Tepper will do the same thing with him. Same thing. Get to the end of the year. Carolina not just misses on the playoffs, but falls out of a playoffs position down the stretch. And for the record, David Tepper's got as much blood on his hands for this team being as bad as it is as Matt Rule does. Then I look over at South Carolina, the Gamecocks next year. Now, of the 3 teams, I am not saying they are at the highest possible final destination. Alonzo, if I asked you between Clemson, between South Carolina, between the Carolina Panthers, which team do you feel is on the most steeply angled upward trajectory? Which one of those 3 teams would you say it is?
I think you have to go with the Gamecocks, but because of where they were.
Sure.
And I mean, when you're way down there and you start to go up, it's going to look like it's a bigger ascent than anybody else. And you could argue that Carolina is maybe not going down, but they're definitely not going up. And Clemson is definitely going down at the moment.
Yeah, at the moment. That does not mean that they will not be back on the rise in a week or a month or 3 months or at kickoff of week 1 next year. Doesn't mean that they aren't gonna be able to save it. But if you're going to look at me and tell me the last 5 days have been good for Clemson, I am worried about you. That being said, Carolina's steep ascent brought them to 6-6. 6-6. If they improve by 33% next year, they will be 8-4. Now, if you're a Gamecock fan, that's pretty exciting, right? If you're a Gamecock fan, you're going, hey, 6-6, 8-4, make it a bowl game. Pick off another couple of wins next year, maybe get a little bit more comfort in wins over teams like ECU instead of fighting them all the way into the late fourth quarter. But that was early in the year, right? And then Clemson, again, a question mark. Your DC's gone. I read this morning from a couple of different places that Tony Elliott is likely the favorite to be the head coach at Duke. The only thing that's a question mark is there has been a new name that has popped up in those ranks. There is speculation going on right now that Jason Garrett, the former Dallas Cowboy head coach turned New York Giants offensive coordinator for like 23 games, is going to be interviewing for the head coaching position at Duke. And if he wants it, he might take the jump. But even if not, even if that ends up not being the case, or excuse me, even if that does end up being the case and Tony Elliott comes back, the situation that Clemson fans told me about this year was that they were very disappointed with Tony Elliott. Very disappointed with Tony Elliott. Now, Clemson, with 2 weeks left to go in the season, started to find their identity. Against FSU, Will Shipley was the MVP, doing what? Running the football. Against Wake Forest, they did what? Started running the football. They beat the last undefeated team in the ACC. Against South Carolina, they shut out the rivals 30-0, doing what? Running the football. They found their identity, and that's the good news. Bad news is it took you till like week 8, week 9 for it to kick in. Not great. The one thing that carried you to week 8, week 9 was the defense. But now, the guy that you, the Clemson fans, have told me was the most important cog in Dabo's machine, Brent Venables, is gone. Your athletic director, the engineer that put Dabo's machine together, is gone. And maybe you upgrade. Maybe you upgrade. I'm going to be real with you. I don't know a heck of a lot about Dan Radakovich outside of what he's done since I moved here, right? Because even in radio broadcasting and other places, we don't spend a ton of time breaking down the business decisions of the athletic directors. Because y'all don't care. Y'all don't care how the machine runs as long as it runs, right? It's like a car. Most of us have no idea how a car works. We just know we put the key in the slot, we turn it forward, I push the left pedal to stop and the right pedal to go. And some of y'all know a lot more about cars than the rest. But most of us don't. But Dabo and Dan Radakovich had a relationship under which they built the dynasty that was Clemson over the past handful of years. They deserve credit for that, and they get credit for that. And with the credit for that comes the concern that if the next guy Clemson brings into the AD office isn't the guy, the whole thing gets reset. The whole thing gets reset. The point that I'm making here is that next year, it is going to take, it is going to take some really impressive leadership from a number of different places to make the state of South Carolina have an enjoyable football season next year. Clemson fans, you got spoiled. I don't blame you. You had a hell of a run. I'm not even saying the run's over. I'm saying you're spoiled as a fan base right now. I can't tell you how many Clemson fans have come to me in the past handful of weeks and said, you know, I wish more fans would remember the early Dabo years. I wish more fans would remember the Bowden years. I wish more fans would remember pretty much every year from 1982 to 2015 because they weren't fun, right? So the Carolina Panthers fire their offensive coordinator. It is as transparent of a desperation move as I have ever seen. They have very little room to get better this offseason, right? You trade Sam Darnold, sure. You're going to bring in a mid-tier player for that. Can't do anything with McCaffrey. You loaded his contract up so much that he's not even trade bait anymore. What do you do if you're Matt Rule? You're screwed. Firing Brady was a desperation move. If you're David Tepper, this is on you too. South Carolina, if they get a third better than they were this year, they're 8-4. And Clemson's a big fat question mark right now. I am intrigued about what next year's football season looks like. We could have a significantly better South Carolina team. Shane's got a chance to bring in Shane guys. Shane's got a chance to bring in Shane guys. Maybe that helps dramatically. Maybe the Panthers can find a way to fix it. Of the three teams that I am having, of the three teams, the one team that I'm having the most trouble coming up with some level of optimism for is the Carolina Panthers. I am having a difficult time finding optimism for the Panthers franchise right now. Clemson's a question mark. Clemson's a question mark. Dabo Swinney built a dynasty. Can he do it again? Yeah, I think he can. Will he? Question mark. He's about to have to roll some dice that might come up nat 20s and might come up nat 1s or might come up somewhere in the middle. We don't know. We don't know. But he's about to have to try. If Dabo's as good at building around himself as Clemson fans tell me he is, then you'll be just fine. But if he's not, I don't know what happens to them next year. Good news for them is the ACC is not going to get a whole lot better, but we'll see. Texter says, let's see, ESPN, maybe Clemson should go after Manny Diaz for defensive coordinator and Joe Brady for offensive coordinator if Elliott leaves. It could happen. Oh, absolutely. If I'm Dabo, I'm already on the phone with Joe Brady, dog. I got to tell you right now, and Dabo won't do this because of the mentality. If anybody but Dabo's in charge of that program, they'll fire Tony Elliott to bring in Joe Brady. I would. Mr. Elliott's a nice guy. I like him. I hang out with him. I've hung out with him. We're not like golfing buddies yet. I like Tony. When we did Clemson Media Day, Tony Elliott came over to me to talk to me. Made fun of my glasses, Lonzo. And I still liked him. He's got that much charisma. But at the end of the day, my job is to win football games. And Joe Brady has proven that he can do that. Joe Brady was a sacrificial lamb for the Carolina Panthers, which means he's on the table. I'd absolutely make the call. Texas says, and he says Manny Diaz for defense coordinator. I'd take that too. Manny Diaz has been a good coordinator. He's one of those guys that strikes me as, you ever heard the concept of the Peter Principle? Peter Principle says everybody is hired to one job above their peak operating efficiency, right? If you're a great, you're a great bank teller, you get promoted to manager. Maybe you're a great bank manager, but that's the best you're capable of being is a great bank manager. Then eventually you get hired to be a personal investment banker and you suck at that job. That's the Peter Principle. I think Manny Diaz is that. He's a great bank manager. He's not ready to be an investor. At ESPN, Media and other people have already put the core. Here we go. Yeah, we have been spoiled, but why does everyone think that Dabo can't make it happen again? I get that it's going to be hella hard, but it's like all media and other people have already put the cart before the horse that we will never win again. Why? Lonzo, did I not just say like a second ago in this segment that I am not marching around Death Valley with a sign that says the end is near? I just said if there's a coach who can pull them out of this hole, it's Dabo Swinney. I'm not saying Clemson can't win again. I'm not saying Clemson can't win next year. I'm saying there's a lot of work to be done. I'm saying you're in a hole. Now, you can look up at the top of the hole and try to tell me it's not really a hole, it's a pothole. It's a hole. I didn't say they can't win. I didn't say they won't win. I said they got a lot of work to do. Dabo's got a daunting task ahead of him. At ESPN, you are manufacturing drama. We all know that Dabo is the brains of that operation. The athletic director is just a figurehead. No. Like, yeah, Dabo's going to point and go, I want that guy and that guy and that guy. Radakovich is the guy that acts as the liaison between the boosters and the private financiers who, pay those salaries. And Dabo. He's got to be a good negotiator to make sure that he can get Dabo's guys in there, that he can talk the boosters and the private financiers into giving more money to the program so that they can pay for salaries for guys like Venables and Elliott. No, I'm not saying that Dan Radakovich has an impact on what happens on the field on Saturdays, but if you don't think ADs have something to do with the success and failure of a football program, I don't know what to tell you. At ESPN, stop. It's not a dynasty. They've been good for 7 years. Good God. Dynasty? Lonzo, how many other teams have been consistently good for 7 consecutive years?
I am curious, Texter, how many years does it take to be a dynasty?
Because if so, it's Alabama and nobody else.
Yeah.
Ever.
I mean, is it 5? Is it in your book? Is it 20? I don't know. How many does it take? If you've been dominant in your like in their case in the ACC for as many years as they have, I almost said they were a dynasty. They are possibly still a dynasty.
Texas says a decade. You got to be good for a decade to be a dynasty. I'll round up. 7's good enough. 7's good enough. Texas says, can't wait to see what the talk is when Saban hangs it up. Bet it won't be as bad as Clemson talk. Bet you're wrong. I bet you're wrong. Now, unless...
Well, of course, when Saban hangs it up, Dabo's taking the spot. So we'll still be talking about Clemson.
That's a working theory from the... I'll tell you right now, the folks in Tuscaloosa absolutely believe that Dabo's just waiting for Nick Saban to call a shot to move down there and take that job. I don't believe it. If Dabo leaves, he's going to the league. Dabo's not leaving Clemson for another school. He's going to the league if he goes. But that's why I've said, if Dabo leaves, he's going to the league, and right now there is a perfect setup for him in the league. The Raiders will give him a $100 million contract. He's got a bunch of Clemson guys in the room, and he's probably the only coach out there that could talk to Sean into waiving a no-trade clause to come play for him. It's the perfect setup. And if he fails in the NFL, there's going to be a laundry list of colleges waiting to give him a $100 million contract. And who knows? Maybe Alabama's one of them. Texas says, yeah, you said that as I was finishing that text, wasn't rewriting it. You and Mark have been the most optimistic about us Tigers. Yeah, I am not. Wait.
Did you just get a positive?
I know, it's weird.
About Clemson?
What is this warm feeling taking over?
That's the room.
It's true.
Yeah. I did. I turned it. I thought I turned it.
I think you may have turned it the wrong way.
No way.
Yeah, it points that way for cold.
That's what I did. I turned it that way.
I'll figure it out.
All right.
Yes, that is a compliment. And my goodness gracious, does that warm and fuzzy. I like it. Let's do that more, guys. Tell me how great I am more. I like it. Yeah, I'm not a again, I feel like I say this once a week. There's optimism, which is ignoring the bad in favor of the good. There's pessimism, which is ignoring the good in the favor of the bad. And then there's realism, which is looking at the good and the bad and taking it all together. I am a realist about your program in a community that is filled with pure optimist about your program. Whereas you're right, a lot of the media is very pessimistic. The end is nigh for the Clemson Tigers. I don't believe that. But if you're saying there's no chance, there's no panic for you, none, no panic for you, None? You're an optimist. You're an optimist in the face of reality. If you say the end is nigh, there's nothing that can be done to fix this, you're an unending pessimist in the face of reality. I think you're in a hole. I think there's a lot of work to be done, and I think that there's a good possibility there are more changes coming before the work gets started. Doesn't mean the end is near. Doesn't mean the Clemson dynasty collapses. It just means that it's wobbly. Texas says, look 90 miles south to see what a bad AD. Look 90 miles south to see what a bad AD can do to your program. There's a lot of schools like that. A lot of schools like that. ESPN, the Patriots are a dynasty. Alabama's a dynasty. Clemson is on a good run, and that's about all you got. It's not even like they are historically good. Right. Historically is not what makes a dynasty. A good run is what a dynasty is. Now, you can be a historic dynasty.
By the way, they are historic in Clemson.
Yeah.
This is the best run that Clemson's ever had.
And finally, before we take our break, I can't believe it. Lonzo just said something positive about Clemson. Wow, it must be Christmas.
Welcome to the show. This must be the first time you've ever listened. We're so glad to have new listeners. I've been positive about Clemson forever. Begrudgingly positive about Clemson, to the point where it sickens me when I'm done with the show every day going, man, I was so positive about Clemson today. I think I may need to go purge.
844-GSP-ESPN. Text us on the Ingles Market text line at 71307, 71307. Start your text with ESPN. We'll read them on the air. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
For professionals, Houston Kinetics now 864.
Clemson does not make the list of Wikipedia dynasties. My ruling is final.
864-448-3772. Hey, it's ESPN Upstate's Mark Ryan. Join me at Ingles Markets this and every Thursday from 3 to 7 with a special live edition of Offsides with
We
Mark
got park
Ryan.
next to
This
me for it,
Thursday
dude.
will be at
Yeah,
2212
sorry, parking lot.
Sunset Highway in Greenville. Brought to you by Ingles Markets on ESPN Upstate.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters. The type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs.
79.
Theirs at home. This is the live mentality. This
Here I am yelling. 307, start your text with ES. Stock show in South Carolina. The Star Award-winning BN Upstage. A couple of texts. A couple of have coming. Stage. A couple of texts. Couple of texts.
starting at $79 a year. Progressive Motorcycle, those who are born to ride. Risk Casualty Insurance Company affiliates. Annual premium for basic liability policy is not available in most states. Everyone always talks about magic.
Well, it makes it a little bit easier. The 17 minutes that I actually recorded
Yeah.
was the first 17.
Okay.
Again, everything's recorded. It's just a matter of.
The job and you don't need. Right? So the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
The Rob Brown Show is sponsored by
All right, let's run.
Shop on eBay to get more. For your on-stand mixer.
All right, let's
Or get more. For your
through some.
gaming gear.
All right, let's run.
Get more and save more on premium brands with eBay's exclusive deals.
dispensing real, unfiltered sports talk every weekday noon to 3. This is the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It is ESPN Upstate, 844-477-3776, 844-GSP-ESPN. We're a little off the clock, so I'm going to do a quick segment here. We got Olympic qualifying events going on around the world right now. In fact, as a matter of fact, yesterday I was watching the downhill slalom U.S. Open, which is a qualifying event, if I recall correctly. And anyway, one of the sports of which Lonzo and I are enormous fans, of course, is curling. Love curling, and that's not even sarcasm. I love curling.
Experts.
Oh, yeah.
We're experts.
We're aces, man.
You know, you may look at it and go, yeah, I understand that, but we've spent time on the ice.
Yeah, we've curled.
That's right. We
are
have.
curlers at this point. Our friends over at the Palmetto Curling Club hooked us up. You ever want to get into that, check them out. They're awesome. You can find them on Twitter and Facebook. Palmetto Curling Club, great group of people. They did an open house. They invited us. Zoe and I went out and curled a little bit. Not trying to toot my own rock here. All right. But I'm kind of a natural. I'm kind of a natural at the curling. Anyway, the Olympic qualification event that Team USA was curling in that took place in the Netherlands as they prepare for the Winter Olympics in Beijing was set to be broadcast across the United States on an NBC offshoot and streaming through USA Curling. Except for when fans of curling, of which there are millions and millions of us, when fans tuned in to watch the Beijing qualifying event, it was not available. They killed the stream. A lot of people were upset. Couldn't figure out why they killed the stream. They killed the stream because there was an advertisement on the ice for a company called Easy Toys. Right? It's a toy company.
What kind of toys?
That kind.
Okay.
An adult recreational toy company had its advertising down on the sheet where the team was trying to curl their way into the Olympics. Local organizers of the Olympic qualification event in the Netherlands said they were told that on-ice ads with the Easy Toys name and non-explicit logo were too much for a sensitive United States audience. Dutch media reported the live stream was also canceled in Japan, who had a team there curling as well. Promoter Dagmar von Stiefhout, which is absolutely a character I'm now naming in my next Dungeons & Dragons campaign. Dagmar van Stiefhout said, quote, "I'm not the right man to have an opinion what is normal in which country. I think they're also surprised, but it's best to ask them," he said, of NBC and Team USA Curling, who decided to cancel an Olympic qualification stream because there was a non-explicit logo for a sex toy company on the ice during the event.
I'm just really glad you didn't pronounce the last name a different way.
It was either Stiffout.
That would be the way I'm glad.
I thought so.
Yeah.
Or Stipout. Dagmar van Stiphout. I think it would be Stiffout, right? Which would be very appropriate for this story. USA Curling tweeting on Sunday that video of the Americans opening round match was not available due to, quote, "an unforeseen sponsorship conflict with local organizing committee," end quote. The national governing body said NBC was working with organizers on a solution. An NBC spokesman did not immediately respond to a question seeking an explanation for the decision. Easy Toys, a sexual paraphernalia website. Paraphernalia? Is that the word we're going with here? Paraphernalia? Bills itself as, quote, "the market leader in the Netherlands and Belgium," also refused to comment. Lonzo, is that offensive enough to justify pulling the stream of an Olympic qualification event? To me, it's absolutely not. Like, chill. It ain't the end of the world.
Do you know there's an R in paraphernalia? It's paraphernalia?
Let's see. P-A-R-A-P-H-E-R.
Well, maybe yeah.
N-A-L-I-A.
Yeah, I didn't.
So it's paraphernalia. Paraphernalia? Now it's they got them there sexual paraphernalias on the ice. We can't watch that. Is that like, that blows my mind. That blows my mind. This is Olympic qualifying, man.
There's no way to block that. I mean, we can block commercials. How can they not block that on the stream?
Well, and now in fairness, because it was unavailable, I have not seen the logo. And in fairness, what is explicit in Europe is very much different than what is explicit in America.
And I would advise you to, even though it's for research, to not go looking for it, and you're doing it anyway.
I'm doing it anyway.
Yeah, I just...
I'm trying to see if I can see. Dude, okay, Lonzo, I found it. It literally is just the word. It just says Easy Toys. That's it. There's no like, I was thinking, I'm like, okay, maybe they have like a, phallic shape. The E is a heart, and then it's just the word Easy Toys. We pulled it over that. That's soft. That's soft. S-A-W-F-T, soft. Is that offensive to you in any way, shape, or form?
No, it's not.
Okay.
But I don't know how many people go, "Hey, I wonder what that is," and they look it up. Although you and I both do the same thing if we see something in a video, or just like, "Hey, I wonder what that is."
Immediately.
And I'm guessing that children probably do the same thing. Maybe, I don't know. It's possible.
I got news for you about how the internet works. I promise you, if your kids want to see that kind of stuff on the internet, the word Easy Toys written on ice, not going to be their jumping off point, guys. All right? Not going to be their jumping off point. You guys used to have Playboy magazines you kept in a plastic bag hidden in the woods. All right? This generation has the internet. If your kids are going to look to find this stuff, the words Easy Toys written on the ice is not going to be their first, pardon the pun, exposure. You get what I'm saying? That's soft. By the way, you know why I did this segment? 100% because I expect the puns on the text line to be A, incredible, and B, unreadable on the radio.
Yeah, Stacks passed out before you even got there. So he's just like... His fingers are bleeding as he's trying to get through. Yeah, it's
The
not good.
first pun has. Never mind. The puns are in. Keep them coming. This is for my own off the ice entertainment. I just love that we dropped an Olympic qualifying match because the words "easy toys" were. It's just the words. The E is a heart, and it's just the words. There's no symbols. There's no innuendo.
I missed it in the story. Did we qualify?
Well, it's the first of qualifying events,
Okay,
but I believe
all right.
our mixed doubles team went 5-0. So they got a big head start on getting in. So we should be fine. That's what we're all here for. Curling talk. Don't you worry.
Oh, we've only just begun with that.
Oh, when the Beijing Winter Olympics start, I believe that some of those events will be while we are live on the air. You better believe you're getting breakdowns. And that's not a joke. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show, ESPN Upstate. Oh, that story made me laugh so hard. They absolutely got more advertising out of this story than they did by putting their name on the ice.
Which could have been their whole marketing play. It's possible.
Worked perfect.
I want them to prove everybody. Say they don't believe. Oh, no, sorry.
Come on, headache. Get out of the way.
ESPN Weird on the air. One says Rob. Come back on the Rob Brown Show. Rob Lonzo, you. It's ESPN Upstate.
Please, we understand.
Screening option for. Just real quick that have come in. All right, let's run through it.
That's right. With Protect My Car, when your car breaks down, we pay your repair bill for you. Just dial 800-279-2827.
After this, to wrap up hour one. Rob Brown Show, right here on ESPN Upstate.
And so much more. Dial 800-279-2827 and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Dial 800-279-2827.
With reimagined
Right now and get free roadside assistance.
It's not magic that will deliver 1 billion packages to home. He's not messing around. On the Rob Brown. All right, wrap it up.
We're messing around a little bit.
When the going gets tough.
All right, wrap.
And the ones who know we're tougher together. For the Pathfinder breaking new ground. Granger offers supplies and solutions for everyone. Experts and 24/7.
Lonzo, this is ESPN Upstate.
We know you have people depending on you, so you can always depend on us. Call, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, the ones who get it done.
Get help managing your money for the life and years ahead with Fidelity Income Planning. We'll look at what you save, what you'll need, and help you build a flexible plan for cash flow designed to last, so you can go from saving to living. Fidelity Brokerage Services number NYSE SIPC.
NFL fans, the fantasy football season doesn't just start in September. Every week is a new shot to win big cash prizes at DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of the NFL. And this week, players can play free for millions with their first deposit. Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in the game.
Well, I might get this done and posted before hour number 2 is done. Maybe.
So you're having to you found it obviously, so you're having to edit basically
Yeah,
everything that's not us out.
Yeah, there's also a show going on around it, so yeah.
A lot of details, man. A lot of details.
I can wait till after. I hope that I've gotten rid of enough to for the next hour to just save on its own, but I won't know until we try. Then I got to send that email to engineering, which will cause an email to go to everyone to tell everyone to start clearing out their folders before it crashes. If it crashes, it's bad. I've been there before. It's ugly.
I believe that entirely. Sorry.
So this is one of those things you're just going to laugh and you can't say probably whatever it is on the air.
Somebody said those companies could probably help all the poor people who have lost the groin.
All right, I guess you could. It's not the same as the real thing, though.
Brilliant.
At least I believe so.
Between that text and the second most unexpected Lonzo comment of my career, this is a good segment. All right, we can just end the segment now. Should we just go to break? I don't think we'll ever top this segment, to be honest with you. Those two things back to back may have been the greatest thing that's ever happened in my broadcast.
And now I'm
career.
going to have to figure out what I did because I have no idea.
Seriously?
So, yeah.
You just made maybe the dirtiest comment you've made, even completely without expecting.
I was talking about, like prosthetics, like with when you have to
I know.
replace a leg
Oh, I know.
or something like that.
I know. I want you to just think about the context for a minute. It may come to you. It may not. We'll see.
Well,
see.
hopefully it won't.
You know what I didn't ask yesterday that I wanted to? Anybody actually enjoy Monday night's game? Did anybody really think Monday night's game was fun? For real?
I made the mistake again of
tuning in?
watching the Manning cast, and when you do that, you don't really pay attention to the game. You just only when they're breaking down plays. When they're talking to guests, they had David Letterman on there, they had Joe Buck on there. When they're talking to guests, you don't really pay attention to the field very much, except for when they had Joe Buck just jump in and do play-by-play, and you realize how great that dude is. And if you don't like Joe Buck, I don't understand you, because that dude's amazing.
I saw a lot of people busting up on Joe Buck. Like, a lot of people really dislike Joe Buck.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
Yeah, I don't get that.
So what I've got is Joe. A lot of people are mad because Joe Buck got there because his dad, he's a legacy broadcaster. Because he's Joe Buck, because he's Big Buck's kid. He was born on third, which is fine. But Joe Buck works his tail off, y'all. Joe Buck knows his stuff. And he's got a schedule that the vast majority of y'all would not want to undertake to do his job. And he does great. I did love, however, when they're like, Joe, do you hate TV timeouts as much as we do? And he said, well, I'm sitting in my vacation house in Cancun right now, so I'm a big fan of TV breaks because they pay my salary. Good line from Joe.
Which some people, Rob, will consider smug.
I don't consider that smug. I consider it factual. There's a difference.
That was a joke going back to hour.
Oh, I know
number
it
one.
was.
Yes.
I know it was.
And I thought it was funny too.
That being said, the Manning cast for the first time was definitively better than just watching the regular broadcast of the game, because the game was a snoozer, ladies and gentlemen, because football in 30 mile an hour winds and driving snow is not fun. It's not. They're not having fun playing. We're not having fun watching.
As someone who's played in, similar conditions, I will concur and agree. No, it's not fun. You feel like you're walking on bricks.
Yeah.
Every step feels like, when your foot goes to sleep and you get those little needles in your foot where you're trying to work the. That's
it's just that, but all the time.
Yeah,
everywhere.
With pain involved in it too. And if you touch the ball or when you hit someone and you get little cuts and nicks that usually you kind of man up and
the ground is concrete hard.
Yeah, that hurts too.
What cushion you get from dirt and grass is gone.
And cleats that are supposed to penetrate the frozen earth do not. Yes.
It's like walking in. You know how when you go golf and you walk on golf spikes on the cart path? That's what you're playing football in. It was not entertaining. Don't tell me it was. I love what the Patriots threw the ball 3 times in that game.
You got to admit, though, that's kind of, you would say, old school before the forward pass was created. But at the same time, it shows the how to adapt and win a game ugly. And that's what the Patriots did.
Yeah, I mean, respect to Hoodie, who, by the way, had just a left haymaker thrown the next day because the Sean McDermott, the coach of the Bulls, the Bills. McDermott came out the next day and he goes, you know what? The Patriots didn't beat us. We beat ourselves. We didn't execute. The weather beat us, et cetera, et cetera. Hoodie comes out the next day and Hoodie says, we didn't do anything special. We just ran the ball at them the whole time. We didn't even get to do what we game planned to do because of the weather. Like, he basically said, no. We beat you and it was easy, Jack. But the hottest take I've ever made on the radio, and the one I still get flack from, is the belief that every NFL stadium should be domed in. Every NFL stadium should have a roof. Every NFL stadium should have a roof. Every game should be inside. And that game was that proof. That game sucked. It was boring. Should have been one of the biggest games. It's a divisional rivalry between two teams that came into the year. One is a Super Bowl favorite trying to find their identity. The other one was expected to be a long shot, who all of a sudden is leading the conference in hoodie. Should have been a game of the year candidate. Instead, what we got was a bunch of dudes who didn't want to be in the cold, who were hurting and hating, rolling around and running the ball 3 times or throwing the ball 3 times. That game sucked. It was boring, and every NFL team should have a roof on their dome. Back after this to wrap up hour 2 on the Rob Brown Show. Rob Alonzo, ESPN Upstate.
So I'm sure the texters will ask you how you can have a roof on your dome. But in case you wanted to address it before the onslaught. Yeah. Well, the ceiling is the roof or something.
Remember when the Superdome roof caught on fire earlier this year?
Yes, I do.
The roof was on fire.
I appreciate you not finishing that.
Well, we are on the street.
Plus, a special team demonstration by tactical teams and our K9 patrol unit. Help an underprivileged child this Christmas. For more information, go to leosanta.com.
Leo Santa, presented by Rob Inario, attorney at law. 864-CALL-ROB.
With special thanks to Greenville Heritage Federal Credit Union, TLC Motors, and Harley Davidson of Greenville. Thanks from ESPN Upstate.
Danish's Bakery just landed a sweet catering contract.
40 dozen fritters, Friday at 5 a.m.
He needs an event planner to help him rise to the occasion.
Oh, every Friday at 5 a.m. Not a problem.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need
Did you know hour 2 is over?
I like this week.
Trade pros. Whether you specialize in service or new construction, Ferguson knows firsthand how much work goes into a long day on the job, which is why we're committed to offering the products and solutions to get every job done right. With over 1,000 locations, an unmatched selection of specialty products, tools, and supplies, our pro pickup and same or next day delivery, you can trust that doing business with Ferguson will be the easiest.
Well, I hope this thing saves this time.
Visit Ferguson.com to find a counter location near you.
There's nothing worse than coming home from a cold day to find out that your heater isn't working.
Nothing worse. In the world, there's nothing worse.
You've been without heat for 3 days. It's pretty bad.
But there's nothing worse. Having your leg cut off by a bush hog is not as bad as not having a heat.
That's pretty specific.
He said nothing worse, which means anything is specific.
So the first thing that pops into your mind is losing a leg to
No,
a
I
bush
have
hog.
worse things in my mind, but I try to
Okay.
keep my dark humor off the stream as much as possible.
The Upstate Holiday Light Show is going on now at Greenville Pickens Speedway. Twice the animals and the carnival rides are back. UpstateLights.com.
This feature sponsored by Indeed. If your seasonal hiring needs are covered, then you need Indeed. Indeed is the smart hiring platform that delivers 4 times more hires than all other sites combined. According to Talent Nest, post a job and hire ASAP. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Next hour, I'm going to open replying to some comments we've gotten online on a couple of articles I put up, and then Faces and Heels in the second segment.
Steven, I appreciate how you spelled that, because I know some people who actually say it that way. And who knows, maybe autocorrect helped you with that, but
BOAFY?
no, The,
No, I'm looking. I'm trying to figure out what VOA means.
I don't know.
Meryl, what's VOA mean? Voice over
Actor?
effect.
Actor.
Oh yeah, okay. I say losing a growing to a football. Growing. Got it.
There are oh man, this guy's banned. Way to go.
I love the premise of this commercial because in my head somebody does this and they just get caught going through like their girlfriend's shoes with no context to it. Yes, shoes are the new toys. Give your 5-year-old a shoe.
Here's what a master troll a certain person is. I have to record one of their clients coming up, and they end their email with 30-0. If I was one of those very sensitive fans, that would make me angry. I just think it's hilarious.
Anytime I talk to a Falcons fan, I do my best to work 28-3 into a conversation somehow.
Admittedly, there was a time I did this quite a bit as far as holding my hand up goes.
It was incredible.
The same person, when I would see him every once in a while, would just do this.
Just wave like this.
During the 5.
Yeah.
When South Carolina beat them 5 years in a row.
The Rob Brown Show rolls on, wrapping up hour number 2. Coming up in the next hour of the show, we're going to get some social media involved. We've got a lot of replies to some content we've put on Twitter and Facebook that we're going to reply to. Then, we didn't do it yesterday because I am inattentive. Faces and Heels in the next hour as well. Your thoughts are welcome. 844-GSP-ESPN. Text to 71307. Start your text with ESPN. We'll read them on the air. The Rob Brown Show's on your radio. It's ESPN Upstate. That's one of the most incredible goals I've ever seen. Watch this. He flips it over the goal, and then dude bats it out of the air.
I'm starting to dread Faces and Heels because I always seem to look bad. It just, I think I do.
Is that it's
for me to look bad?
No.
You're right.
Oh, the drama.
All right, computer. Let's go.
Computer.
Panthers and Falcons each sit with a record of 5-7. In many ways, this game kind of feels like a playoff elimination contest. Download the Score app today. Lightning fast sports alerts so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular sports apps. With your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update, I'm Matt Pauley.
Have you heard the Rob Brown Show? Been watching Freddie Freeman forever. Watching him run across the field, trying to shove that game-winning baseball into his pocket, not being able to get it in his pocket, so he puts it in his glove, and as he's hugging guys, he's holding that glove under his arm so he can keep the ball. Then they interviewed him after and said, "You still got the ball?" He said, "I hit it so I can give it to Snit. Snit's getting that ball." He gets that memory because he's earned it. Loving his team! And all those moments, and all those memories. Memories of watching those games with my grandpa. Memories of sitting in the Shalimar Diner watching with my dad. Memories of watching with family members and friends throughout the years. Memories of going to old.
All right, I didn't get the message, and it appears to be saving. So
super duper.
Now, hour number 3, that might be totally different.
Poof, poof.
Sports are great, but every now and then, man, sports gives you a moment, and you know good and damn well you are never going to forget that moment.
Greenville, Spartanburg, catch the Rob Brown Show weekdays noon to 3 on ESPN Upstate.
Hey, speaking of which, what's playing now? Are you supposed to be talking about that?
Probably. So I'll just stand this up right here.
Might want to open with that. Obviously, I forgot too. So it just wouldn't have fit, in the places where we were arguing. So we had to put it off. That's.
Third final best money hour of the Rob Brown Show goes now. It's ESPN Upstate. Hello, Upstate South Carolina. Hello, America. Hello, world. Good to be back with you. I'm Rob. He is Alonzo. Glad to have you chatting with us. We're going to jump right back into the sports. But before I do, want to tell you about something very cool going on over at the Bon Secours Wellness Arena, literally, as we speak. It's Blue Light Christmas. Join us and Greenville County and city law enforcement officers today at Bon Secours Wellness Arena for an LEO Santa drive. Very cool event that is going on over there. They've done some cool stuff, and we want to thank them. We want to thank them for doing this. They're going to be over there until 7 p.m. today and from 6A to 10A tomorrow for the Leo Santa Toy Drive presented by attorney Rob Onario, conducted by off-duty law enforcement officers who are filling their patrol cars with toys and gifts donated by the community for kids in our area this Christmas. The officers are going to be bringing smiles and joy to kids who may not otherwise have Christmas toys on Christmas morning. So what we are asking you to do is to stop by the Bon Secours Wellness Arena, stop by the well, drop off unwrapped, newly purchased toys, and as an opportunity, you're going to get to hang out with the city's finest. You're going to get to chat it up with your favorite radio personalities. I'll be over there around 3:30, 4 o'clock today. So come on over. I'd love to get a chance to meet you. I'll be over there, probably about 4. I'll be there about 4 p.m. I'd love to get the chance to meet you. They are doing live demonstrations from the Greenville Police Department Special Weapons and Tactics teams and the K-9 Patrol Unit, which, by the way, I got a really cool picture earlier, Lonzo. They have all the K-9s just hanging out there at the well. So you can go by and meet some of the K-9 officers there.
That is really cool.
Super chill, right? Like they're those big traffic barriers out front. They had all the dogs sit on top of them. Really cool picture. Really cool picture. Anyway, you can donate on site. If you donate to Leo Santa, you'll receive a buy one, get one coupon to the 12-18 Greenville Swamp Rabbits game. So you're getting a free hockey ticket out of the deal, basically. You buy a hockey ticket, you get a second one for free if you donate. The stuffed animals collected at the teddy bear toss game, which is going to be on 12-18. It's going to be awesome. This is one of the coolest events that they do all year long. It will be collected and donated to the Leo Santa organization. The teddy bear toss is like a hockey tradition. Like every hockey team does this, where they have their fans bring tons of stuffed animals and throw them out on the ice, and then they donate them all. And your stuffed animals you drop off at the Leo Santa Drive are going to be added to that collection. Also out there, the Rabbettes, the cheerleaders for the Swamp Rabbits are there. Stomper is going to be. Stomper's the best mascot in America. All right. Sorry, Philly fanatic. You got to take a back seat to Stomper. They'll be out there making stops and taking pictures and whatnot. Also want to thank Harley Davidson of Greenville, TLC Motors, Upstate SC Heroes Program, Brian O'Neill Real Estate, Long Heating and Air, Greenville Heritage FCU, the Greenville Swamp Rabbits, Early Goat Coffee Company, and Spinks for participating in the Leo Santa Drive. Again, going on today until 7 p.m. at the Bon Secours Wellness Arena. It is also going on tomorrow from 6A to 10A. Stop by, drop off some gifts, and let's make some kids special Christmases this year. And again, I'll be over there probably around 4 or so. So if you're around, come on by, say hi. I'd love the chance to see you. I posted an article yesterday on our website, ESPNUpstate.com. ESPNUpstate.com, which you can go check. And the title of the article is Kids Are Going to Transfer, Get Over It. That's the title. I feel like it's succinct, Lonzo. I feel like it's a succinct argument. Kids are going to transfer. Get over it. And anyway, I wrote it up. And basically what I said was kind of a chunk of what I did on the show yesterday. I said it's very weird to me that college kids are the only group of people that when they decide to take another opportunity to better their chances of meeting their own objectives and their own goals are blasted for it. They're the only kids. I wrote an example on the website. I said, all right, let's, for the sake of hypotheticals, because you guys know I love a hypothetical analogy. For the sake of a hypothetical, let's say that there is a sous chef. And this sous chef has a goal. His goal is to be the best pastry chef in all the land. The best pastry chef in America. Maybe the world. That's his goal. He just wants to be the best pastry chef he can be. And he goes out and gets a job. And he gets a job at a local restaurant. And he takes the job for a couple reasons. Number one, this place has the resources for him to learn how to be a pastry chef. And number two, the head chef of this restaurant is currently the area's best pastry chef. The guy's a wizard with pastries. So they offer this guy a job, and he says, yeah, I'll take it, because I want to learn in your kitchen, and I want to learn from the best pastry chef in America. So he shows up, and he starts working. And he works there for a year, heck, maybe 2, maybe 3, whatever, pick your time. He works there for a period of time. And then one day, the head pastry chef comes into work, and he takes off his big. Why do chefs wear big white hats, Lonzo? Do you know? Why are chef hats?
I don't know, but I'll research it.
Genuinely curious. Anyway, he takes off his big chef's hat. My thought was always because like they would store ingredients in it, but I feel like that's probably something I just made up. Anyway, the head chef comes in and he takes off his big chef hat and he sets it on the table and he says, y'all, I've been offered the head chef position at this other restaurant, and they're going to pay me twice as much. So this is going to be my last day. I am no longer the head chef at this restaurant. I wish you all the best.
All right. According to the internet, so it means it's got to be true. These days, a modern chef hat is tall to allow for the circulation of air above the head and also provides an outlet for heat. This type of hat is called a toque blanche.
Nailed it.
They are worn, 3 years of French, dude. They are worn because the health department requires restaurant employees to wear a hat or hair restraint of some sort. All right,
that
does not explain why.
Esther says to hide the rat. That's a ratatouille.
Ratatouille.
Joke.
It's awesome. Okay, their origin came from the idea that the more experience a chef had, the more pleats his hat had. A pleat could significantly could signify a technique or recipe he had mastered. At one time, a chef had 100 pleats in his hat to signify the 100 ways he knew how to prepare eggs. All right, so I get it. So the higher your hat, the greater chef you are.
It says pleats. Pleats go around the outside. That hat could be 6 inches tall and have 100 pleats in it. Pleats go up and down, not left, or go left to right, not up and down. Right? Yeah.
I think pleats can go either way.
So
chef's toques are tall, round, white starched, and pleated and have been worn by chefs since the early 1800s. Chefs have worn head coverings since long before that. And the modern toque, or is it toque? I don't know. Most likely originated
3
from
years of French, dude.
Stocking caps, worn by French chefs in the early 1700s. All right, so I can't.
Okay, so
I like the idea.
Into a warehouse because of his hat. Texas says every chef I have ever known that is worth anything doesn't wear one, and I've been in it 20 plus years.
So what if your chef wears a hairnet?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You started with circulation of air, which no, and to vent heat away from the head.
Which
Which,
is
all right, like maybe, but
So-
you know what else does that? Not a hat.
yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Not a hat is the best way to get heat out of your head.
So it's one of those things the internet doesn't know, and they're just saying, yeah, just because they do. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, it effectively comes down to hey, this is just what we do, which is fine.
I get the white though, and signifying that your workspace is clean by wearing white. I get that. I mean, I understand that, but yeah, I'm still going with if I go in a place and the dude's wearing a hat that almost touches the ceiling, that's a good chef.
That's a good chef. All right. Back to where I was going with this. That was a side.
Hey,
side
you-
alley I didn't know we were going down.
You asked for
I
it.
wanted the information. I needed the information. All right. So I put up an article on the website. It's called Kids Can Transfer. Get over it. The tag is you don't have to like that college players can transfer schools, but you do have to get over it. All right. And I use the example of the chef. By the way, Texter says it's pronounced Toke, Toke.
I said it that way first. And then-
Texter says, I feel like in the producer category, the longer the hair, the better the producer.
yeah.
So anyway, I use the example of the chef, right? So the head chef comes to the restaurant and he goes, hey guys, I got an offer from this other restaurant to be their head chef. I'm OUT, out, deuces, later, gone. Now, I got this guy there that works there. And the reason he took the job was because this kitchen has great resources for him to learn how to be the world's greatest pastry chef. And he was working under, being mentored by a great pastry chef. Well, that great pastry chef is gone. And let's say to replace that great pastry chef, the restaurant brings in a great seafood chef. They're like, we're going to be a seafood restaurant now, right? Well, the pastry chef, does he have a reason to stay there? No, because he doesn't want to be a seafood chef. He wants to be a pastry chef. That's his goal. And the mentor he had is no longer there. And they're going to be changing the resources in the restaurant because cooking pastries and cooking seafood are very different, obviously. If they're not, stop cooking. So he goes to another restaurant too. He goes, you know what? I'll either follow the old pastry chef to the new place, or I'll go to another place that's more fitting. It's more of a pastry restaurant. I don't know why I picked pastries. I just did. Shut up. I like pastries. Get off me. Anyway, he decides to go. Are any of you going to show up at the restaurant and look at that sous chef and go, you have no commitment. You have no drive. You don't understand perseverance. You lack all these qualities. You're a bad, but you're a traitor. These people signed you up to teach you, and now you're leaving them. No, none of you would do that. Why? Because that would be silly. It'd be silly. I told you the story yesterday about the girl that I worked with worked with on the school paper in high school. Went to one school 2 years, decided that she wanted to add another major. So she went to another school that had both a good journalism school and a good business school, so she could become a business. She could learn the college ropes of business to then report on business when she got out of journalism school. I asked if any of you thought that she lacked commitment, drive, perseverance, dedication. Not a single person said yes. Why is it that football players, why is it that college athletes are the only one that you feel that way about? Why is it they're the only ones not allowed to have the ambition to reach their own goals, right? Well, Rob, other people in that college depend on them. Like, all right, that's fine. A lot of people have depended on me at radio stations in the past, and when I got a better opportunity, I left to go pursue it. And you know what most of them said? We understand. Good luck. See you on the flip side. Nobody's ever looked at me and said, you lack commitment, drive, dedication, passion. I don't think any of you would tell me that right now, would you? I've been in this game 15. It took me 15 years to get this job. 15 years to get to Greenville, South Carolina. 15 years to get on an ESPN station. 15 years to get on a real radio station like this one. In a job I like with people I like, etc. Why is it when a college kid, who, by the way, only has 4, right? I got to tell you, 4 years into my radio career, when I was hosting a show nobody listened to and trying to make something of it, I had people come to me and go, dude, you gotta quit, right? You gotta stop. You gotta go get a real job, boss. And had I done that, who knows where I'd be? Maybe I would have had more money, but I would not wake up every day and love the job that I do like I do now. Do I lack commitment, drive? No, hell no. If I lack commitment and drive, I wouldn't be here. But I have the rest of my life to keep working towards my goals. College football players have 4. End. 4 fiend. They're done. So why are they bad for chasing their dreams? Why are they bad for having goals and objectives? Everybody, everywhere else in America, we celebrate people who take chances and risks to chase their dreams, to chase their objectives, to become somebody and do what they want to do with their life. Yet for some reason, these guys who have less time than any of the rest of us do to chase our dreams in one particular aspect of their life, and they go, you know what? The head pastry chef, the resources that I had at this restaurant aren't good anymore. So I'm going to go somewhere else that they are. If it's a chef, it's good. But if it's a college football player, they're bad. I don't follow. Let's see if Michael can give me a little clarification here. He joins us next up on the show. Mike, good to talk to you, fella. Thanks for calling back, buddy.
Yeah, pleasure. I'll give you the counter argument so somebody does it.
Yeah.
You got this job because you spent 15 years committing and doing things you might not have wanted to do, and getting some unfair jobs and doing some hard things. And that prepared you for getting this job so that you could excel at it when you got it. So I'm going to make another analogy. So it's like somebody saying, man, I really want to be a Navy SEAL. So they go to the Navy SEALs like, man, this is hard. I can't do this. I'm going to go be a Marine. Goes to the Marines, finds out, oh man, we go in first. I don't want to do that. Goes to Army. Oh, I don't like basic training. Goes to here, goes to there. Never gets to the Navy SEAL part because he wouldn't stick it out the first time. You got to where you were because you stuck it out in the places you were at. And now you've got a million people, or not a million, a whole bunch of people that aren't going to be Navy SEAls because they won't go through the hard part. Won't stick it out. Right.
But not everybody. There are a lot of people, your boy included. I couldn't have been a Navy SEAL if I was willing to gut it out because I could have, because obviously, look at the physique, right? But there is a line, and this, I will acknowledge that this is the gray area between my argument and yours, Michael. There is a line where commitment to a cause reaches futility, right? Reaches futility. If a kid goes to a school and then the next year they recruit a 5-star quarterback who, like Johnny Manziel, is a Heisman finalist in his first year, that kid's never going to start at quarterback. It is, you can hit me with, well, what if he goes down? That's great. He's never going to be the starting quarterback at that school. Why is it a lack of commitment as opposed to recognizing futility in the situation?
Several quarterbacks in the NFL right now, I know a few that have gone through Clemson, stayed with the program, started their senior year, were drafted, and have successful NFL careers. And like you said, not everybody's being able to see. Like, not everybody, if you don't get recruited to a big school, and if you're not starting at South Carolina, you're probably not going to get drafted.
Sure, but wait, hang on though.
Learn something in the process.
But here's the thing:
another school, maybe you'll keep your friends, keep your college experience, that. Nope, let's just
and that's fine. But here's the thing: not every player's goal is the NFL. This player might have gone to this school because he really liked that coach and wanted to play for him, and now that coach is gone. This guy might have gone to this school because he thought that, a kid goes to BYU because that's where the Church of Latter-day Saints goes. And then 2 years in, he decides that he's not Mormon anymore and he wants out, right? There are other goals and objectives and reasons besides make it to the league that a school might be a fit. So why is it okay for my friend to go to journalism school here, decide that this other school offers a better chance of success and go there instead to utilize their resources in return for tuition money? But if a football player does it, he lacks commitment.
Yeah, I'm fine with it anecdotally. Just like with everything, I worry about it systematically. And just as a side note, you're all talking about the chef thing. There's a million things that chefs and like that militaristic style of the way they structure do that make no sense to me. I just absolutely no sense. Like the hats and everything, just half the stuff.
Have you ever worn the hat? Like seriously, worn the hat?
No, Lord no.
I don't get the hat.
Well,
Why the hat?
I've never understood any of. I don't understand I mean, I get the sous chef, but the way like they have all the different positions, like the military. Like, you know, people go to school for 8 years to become doctors and lawyers, and then a chef wants to be called chef. Like, you're John. You know what I mean? Like, my grandmother could cook.
Here's
Like,
I came up with a theory. I've just come up with a theory as to why the chef wear a tall hat. Because kitchens are places with a lot of people that are very frantic, and the tall hat allows you to find the head chef in the kitchen. That's the only theory I got.
Well,
what if you're
yeah. No, it's the head chef wants everybody to know who the head chef is. That's it.
Fair enough.
They wear the tall hat.
Fair enough. Chefs are
Have a good day.
egomaniacs, so says Michael. Thank you, buddy. Good to talk to you, big guy. Appreciate it.
When you have power, you have to display it in some way. I have very little power, but one thing that I tell all the producers is that I do not want to sit in a hot seat. So they have to switch seats out when I come into the room. You've got to do things, that show that you have some sort of power. So the white hat is like a crown. He's the king of the kitchen, I guess.
Yeah, like I said, I could work with the theory. As somebody who's worked in the service industry and worked not in a kitchen, but I was a bartender who was in the kitchen a lot. They're busy. But there's not like a head chef at McDonald's, right? There's not like one guy who runs the back at McDonald's outside of the manager.
There's a manager that spends a lot of time in the office with the door closed.
Here, all right, a couple of texts that have come in. I wore black like all my chefs. I never wanted to look different than my workers and didn't want them to look different than me. If you didn't know I was in charge, then I wasn't on my game, and chefs change all the time. That's how we learn. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Chef hops from restaurant to restaurant. Nobody tells him he lacks commitment, right? You go, all right, this place had better resources for you to be better as a chef. Good on you. Why not football
Unless,
players?
of course, kitchen's closed and he goes somewhere else, and you might think you don't want to go wherever that guy went.
Fair enough.
Just saying.
Fair enough. Texas says, here's a good counter argument. There isn't one. Why are people judging college kids' decision-making? They're college kids. Yeah, right? Like nobody beats them up on recruiting. This is just recruiting 2.0. Why is it worse suddenly? Well, they made a commitment to the program. Yeah. And the program made a commitment to them, and something changed. That's life. And as funny as it seems. All right, let's take a break. Back after this. Rob Alonso, you at ESPN Upstate.
Say it is. Oh, so bad.
Oh, that didn't even sound close.
Well, someone moved the trash can.
Oh, come on.
You know that
It's still where it is.
well, the space where the trash can normally is, it would have went out.
Yeah, but that's not where the trash can is.
Well, how do you know I didn't have my eyes closed? You don't know?
The Upstate Holiday Light Show is going on now at Greenville Pickens Speedway. Enjoy the magic of the season with family, neighbors, and friends. Drive through a nighttime Christmas wonderland as 13 million colors set the sky ablaze, synchronized to the music of your favorite holiday classics. Watch the animals in the carnival rides are back. UpstateLights.com.
Good things come in small packages, they say, especially if it comes from Skittles Jewelers, a local tradition for over 25 years. And as a thank you, the entire store is now 25% off. Skittles provides a large selection with the lowest prices guaranteed, with free financing and payments as low as $49 a month, backed by a lifetime warranty. Details at skittlesjewelers.com or its partner.
Missed call.
No, thank you.
Really, Mark? Oh no, it was the boss. All right, I am checking the at the Comrex. Say hello. Hello, Ingalls.
That's tomorrow. Today's Wednesday.
Well, what do I need to check the Comrex for?
Is Mark at the LEO thing?
I don't know. Is he?
What are y'all doing?
I don't know. Who is this that I'm checking the Comrex with? You must be talking to somebody else.
Stay in touch with the heartbeat of your team, even when you're thousands of miles away. Download the Odyssey app today to get started.
You heard you could save big when you bundle home and auto with Progressive, so you went online to check it out. But then you saw a link for a survey about which type of breed you are. And now you're on question 17, barely scratching the surface of your brand identity. You always thought of yourself as a brioche, but are you actually more of a pumpernickel? Yes.
He said, "Don't we read emails?"
Check.
We can hear you. Hello.
It's Mark and Roy.
Ah. No. So we're coming back in about 5 or 6 minutes. Hey, Mark.
What?
I was talking to the boss.
Let's do a real short segment here. Let's do faces and heels next. I just realized that we're late. And by we, I mean I, because always.
I think you just know who's listening closely, and now you're trying to.
Oh, no,
Okay.
I feel like I say I'm off the clock once an hour.
Well, when you're passionate about what you do, sometimes, and these breaks float, they are not hard breaks, so you're not really off the clock. So. Yeah.
Texter says the height of the chef hat signifies their position. The tallest hat goes to head chef and down from there. The French designed the culinary arts to run like a military for things like chain of command, organization, and vocabulary. Only the head chef is called chef. All others are referred to by their names or their stations. Calling a cook a chef is like calling a private general or calling a nurse doctor.
So I was right.
Yeah, tall hat goes to the big guy.
So I was absolutely right. Okay.
So it's just decorative is what it is. Just call it what it is. And that's fine.
It's decorative, but it's also a station.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying. I mean, the taller the hat, that dude's in charge.
Yeah.
But what if you have a small hat, a shorter hat, but you're a really tall guy?
Yeah, we had another text who said, I'm 6'5". I don't fit on the line with that stupid hat. I mean, I go 6'3". If I work a 2-foot hat, do I have to duck over the grill the whole time?
Where are you guys working? I mean, are they like 7-foot ceilings or something? Come on.
All right. So I gave you guys the thoughts just a second ago on recruiting and all that, transferring and all that. And I'll leave it. If you want to comment, if you want to read the article, it's up on ESPNUpstate.com. ESPNUpstate.com. It's right on the main page. You'll see that beautiful shining mug of mine right there above it. The article is called "Kids Are Going to Transfer. Get Over It." Because you kind of have to at this point. I'm sorry, with all due respect, you just kind of have to. All right. We're at a point now where we are allowing these kids to do what's best for them to chase down their objectives. And like I said, I'm at a point in conversations with people who are anti-transfer portal. I've kind of hit a point where I realize you just don't like it. Like, there's not a good argument. Your argument is, well, they won't learn commitment. I got news for you. If you play football at all, you learn commitment, right? Somebody said, well, the school provides them with it. Yeah, and they also provide the school with something, their play, right? Michael said, you wouldn't be here if you didn't do that 15 years and stay committed. You are correct. But you know what I did do? I went from job to job to find the job that was going to help me elevate to the next level. And if I hadn't done that, if I'd have stayed committed to the station that gave me my first chance on air, I'd be on a 50-watt station in Destin, Florida, working for people who paid my paychecks 2 weeks too late.
But at the same time, you're saying you went from job to job, but you spent time at each job learning something and
Sure.
being committed. You can't.
Super talented, right? If Colin Cowherd decided one day he was going to work and then 2 days later he didn't like his new work, Fox would hire him back.
I think you could find a better example than,
All right,
than
I'm
that
using
guy.
the biggest name, Jim Rome, whoever.
Pick names.
But here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. I have done all that. Not work a job for 2 days. But when I went to Jacksonville and worked for the station down there, they hired me. They gave me a job. They put me in the air. And then you know what happened? Lonzo, 5 weeks later, they fired me. 5 weeks. I've not heard a single person tell me what a lack of commitment. What a lack of respect. What a lack of all these other admirable traits we want to see in people. They fired me after 4 weeks.
Well,
if I'd have walked
they
on
said
four,
that before. They never told you that, possibly.
Right. Well,
so they could have actually. I've seen your work ethic, and you're an award-winning host.
Thank you.
It's hard for me to fathom them saying such a thing about you, but they could have.
Absolutely. So you pay your dues both ways, right? I think that the thing about this conversation that drives me the craziest is the way that it is presented makes it sound like these kids don't do anything. Like them working to play football is just expected. It's not. That's work. It's hard work. Those of you that have done it at that level know it's hard work. But here's the last part of the conversation. I want you to know that there are consequences for the kids the way that I approach this as well. As Dan Scott pointed out yesterday, there's like 2,000 kids in the transfer portal right now. When we're all said and done, there's probably going to be about 1,200 scholarships available for kids to transfer into. About 800 kids are going to cost themselves their career by transferring and have nowhere to land.
It's the old adage, and it can apply here, although I'm not sure how you can make it work. You don't leave a job
Till you have a new one.
Till you have a new one.
It's an old rule of thumb.
But I don't know that they can do that.
But that's not an option.
Well,
right?
no, actually they could do that, but not legally.
Not really. Random State University can't call University of Random State and say, hey, we want to talk to your wide receiver and let him know. See, I've been poached from jobs before.
But they do have a guy that can reach out to a guy that can reach out to you.
Sure. I mean, you can go through the back channels at the risk of what happens if you get caught, right? I've been poached from jobs.
Yeah.
At the TV station in Pensacola, the political talk radio station that would hire me called me with about 3 weeks left to go on my contract. And they said, we want to talk to you about taking our job. Are you interested in talking to us? And I said, sure, I'll meet you. Can't promise I'll say yeah, but I'll meet you. And I sat down at a table at a Chili's in Pensacola, Florida, and talked to them about that job. That doesn't happen with football players. They have to take the risk that someone wants them. And as I told a young kid the other day, having the same conversation, with the ability to transfer and the adult decision that you have to make in order to transfer, there are also adult consequences. You have to take both. You can take the adult ability to make the adult decision to transfer, but understanding the adult consequence of you may not have a landing spot and you lose your scholarship. Now you got to pay to go to college, which is going to suck for some kids who maybe don't have the resources to pay for their own college. But if you want the responsibility that comes with that adult decision, you accept the consequences that come with that adult decision. There's going to be some 800 kids who transfer this year and don't get a scholarship. They don't make a team anywhere else. Or they got to drop down a level or quality of school to do it. Still their choice, also their consequence. We'll see if we got time for Faces and Heels quick version next, then Twitter to wrap it up on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
All right, so apparently Mark Ryan is broadcasting live from there.
Okay. I wonder why they, I was wondering last night if they were going to send me there, but I never heard anything.
But Roy duped me there. He made me think that Hendricks was there. We know that if you can hear me there and Mark can hear me, Mark can't hear me because Mark's never on time. He knows that. I know that. We all know that. And if he were there, he would say something to me right now. QC connects in the next break.
You know who Jack Evans is? The AEW wrestler?
Jungle Boy.
No, not Jungle Boy.
That's Jungle Boy.
He was in he was in another tag team that came out. They used to come out and they had like really bright neon, like black with green neon trim. It's not a great picture, but this cat.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now.
Okay.
About him.
So he just tweeted, "This will sound like a fake message, but it is not. I am currently being extorted by 2 police officers from the Del Valle Police Department in Mexico City. In the last 4 days, I have had to pay around 7,000 pesos, $350, and I am not paying more. So if I get arrested on drug charges in the next little bit, I want to put it out there right now that it was planted by the Del Valle Police Department."
Wow. Maybe next time don't take bookings in Mexico.
I mean, he's about to take a booking he don't want, apparently.
Yeah. He hasn't been on there in a while. I wonder if he's still with AEW.
That's a good point.
And also, if you know you're getting booked on drugs and you're famous, you can also tweet out that they're not yours and if they're being planted. I mean, how are you going to know the truth?
I mean, it's not exactly unknown that there are some pretty corrupt policia down in Mexico. All right, Faces and Heels, where Lonzo and I take a look at some socially ambiguous situations and try to find out who's the good guy, who's the bad guy, who's the face, who's the heel. Let's jump right into it. Young lady says that she is the breadwinner of her family. Her parents are retired, don't have a ton of money, but they're retired. She said, I have a basic Netflix plan that allows for one screen, and this worked fine for a while. As you know, her parents watched during the day, she watched night. She said, but lately, the parents have been starting to watch more TV at night. And while she doesn't mind paying and letting them use the Netflix subscription, the dad said, I want you to upgrade to the two-screen plan, which costs like $4 more a month than just the basic one-screen Netflix plan. She said, Dad texted me that he upgraded my account after I told him no, saying that I'm being petty over $4 a month, and that with how much they do for me, this is such a small thing to ask. This ticked me off, and I signed every device out and changed my password. Now they can't use my Netflix at all. They are both mad at me right now, saying I'm ungrateful and texting me at night about it. Part of me feels torn because it is only $4 more, and I might be being petty, but I also feel like it's my account, and I should be able to say no without being made to feel bad. They do help me out with other things every now and then, but face or heel for thinking that that assistant should not come with the condition of a $4 upgrade to the Netflix charge without her permission.
She's a heel, but I mean, this is coming from a parent. You know, you do a lot for a kid when they're young, including, you know, pay for your diapers and your food and your schooling and all that kind of stuff. And then you're proving a point with your $4 a month. And, you know, it's not like they're asking you to buy them a car or they're wanting to stay at your house or something like that. It's $4. It's $4. You're the heel.
We're not allowed to have tweeners. That's the point of the segment, all right? No tweeners. You got to label a face and a heel. I am going to go the parents of the heel, but for one reason. Everything you said is spot on accurate, Zoe. Everything, and I'm going to be in the minority on this, I guarantee you. I'm going to be in the minority here. Everything you said is spot on. The one thing that I do have a problem with is doing it without her permission anyway. You can argue and fight and push and drop all those guilt bombs on me. I paid for your diapers. I put you through school. I bought you them new Nikes when you wanted them, etc. You can bring all that down. But to log into her account and change something connected to her credit card, her money, without permission when she's an adult? No. And by the way,
I thought you said she changed it.
No, the dad went in and changed it.
Are you sure?
Yes, I just closed it out. But yes, 100%. She told them no. Then the dad logged into the Netflix account and changed it without permission.
All right, so
He's the heel.
I didn't hear it that way when you said it. I thought it was her, and you're right. He is the heel. I'm changing what I'm saying because you can't do that. You can't change the password and when it's not your account. You can't. That's just wrong.
Yeah, it's messed up. Also, by the way, you said you were worried because this segment makes you look bad. Let me go ahead and take that heat for you here, Zoe. I'm going to give you some go-away heat here. I paid for your diapers and your school is not a reason to push your kids into doing anything for you. That's obligatory when you decide to have a kid, right? That is part of that job. You don't get to push me around. And I'm grateful for everything my parents did for me. I wouldn't have been me without it. But I bought your diapers and put you through school. No. That's what you sign up for when you have a kid. You don't get special treatment because of that. That's your job as a parent. Now, if you fail at that job, you absolutely should be thrown under some sort of building for neglect. But that is the baseline expectation. You don't get special treatment for buying me diapers. You had me. I didn't have a choice.
You're right, but you also mentioned about buying Nikes and things like that. You're also not obligated to go out of your way and buy extra stuff to live with.
All right. Basically, so young lady here, she's 25, boyfriend's 27. She said, I came home. He had made me dinner of salmon, rice, and veggies for dinner. When it was time to eat, I made sure to taste everything how it came out. I complimented him and then added chili oil and furikake. Furikake? All you chefs on the text line, help me out with this one. It's only if you're wearing the tallest hat.
Yeah.
The tallest
that's all we
hat. You
care
can
about.
comment. Nobody else. He got upset and said it's if I didn't like how it originally tasted and he was offended. I was confused and I explained it's like adding sriracha to pho or asking for hot sauce at a diner. I brushed it off and made him apparently super mad.
What's that, pho?
Pho, P-H-O. It's
You mean
Vietnamese soup.
Pho?
No, it's pronounced pho from a Vietnamese person. It's
See,
pronounced pho.
I've always heard it pronounced pho.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to make sure it was the right- those people, the majority.
Yeah. Pronounced pho. Anyway, she said that he was mad, picked up my plate while I was eating, and demanded that I apologize. Face or heel here?
She's the heel for pointing out things that he should have done. And I got to say that as I've gotten older, I'm guilty of that some. To the point where I'm like, if you threw this in, this was great, but if you put a little bit of this in there, think of what it would have been like. And you kind of think it's a teaching moment. And it also has to do with how she said it. I mean, yeah, it's good, but you know what? If I did this,
She said, according to her, she didn't say anything. She just started adding the condiments. Or not even condiments, really more spice than anything, but started adding the condiments.
Well, because for
and I usually add these whenever I make salmon dinner. She said I complimented him and then added chili oil and furikake to my rice. So she seasoned her, her food.
All right.
Not the whole thing, hers.
All right, he's still the heel.
You are never a heel for putting seasoning on your food to the way you like it.
Right. To the point where I was having some stomach problems. So whenever I would cook or my wife would cook, she didn't put any seasonings on it, period. That way you'd have to season it your own way to whatever you can handle. And it just, I'm not offended. Just like some people get offended when you put ketchup on something that they don't think you should, or things
Don't
like
ever
that.
do that.
Yeah, ketchup with steak is awesome. Not only do I love it, but so does Patrick Mahomes.
Never judged you more.
Like I care.
So you're not a heel for seasoning your food. All right, now.
By the way, nothing on
Absolutely.
it because it tastes so well.
And I agree. Like one of the few confrontations I have with a lady friend is no matter how good the steak is, she wants A1. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, my wife does that too. And
but if that's what you like, okay, do your own thing. Just don't touch it to my steak. All right. You're ruining the steak, but it's your taste. That's fine. You are not a heel for seasoning.
Kind of.
Yeah. Then why did I spend $27 on a ribeye? If I can just pour you some A1 in a shot glass and go to town, right? But it's your steak. You eat it how you want, even if it's wrong. You're welcome to do it.
I have the feeling you and I will be eating together tonight.
All right, last one. For context, 25-year-old man, moved in with my girlfriend, 25-year-old female, at the beginning of November. He moved in September. I moved my furniture and my items in mid-October. I moved from a different state to be with him, or to be with her, because she loved her job. I left a much better paying job in financial security to do this. I was burnt out and not happy with my life. The first month my girlfriend and I moved into the house, she lost her house key. She did not tell me this. She just left the house unlocked every day. After I moved all my furniture in, including lots of sentimental items, jewelry, electronics, etc., she still did not lock the door or make any effort to get a key. This was odd to me because I lived alone several years ago and my house was robbed many times. It wasn't a problem up front, blah, 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 bullet down to, he said to her, you need to get a key and you need to keep it on you because I'm leaving the house locked. She continued to leave the house key, continued to leave the house. He locked her out of the house and said, I'll be home when I get home. I told you over and over, bring your house key because I'm not comfortable with the locked house. Who is the heel?
She's absolutely the heel. If it happens once or twice.
She's mad at him and threatening to move out over it.
Well, then she needs to move out because it's not really that hard.
Leaves her key. She just leaves.
Oh.
She just leaves the door. Doesn't lock the door.
You said, I thought you.
Oh, maybe I did. Maybe I did screw up on this one.
Yeah.
Either way, she loses. She repeatedly leaves her key.
That's different than losing your key.
Okay, she repeatedly loses her key. Either way, she's the heel, right?
She is the heel. For sure, she's the heel. And if you've ever been robbed before, it changes your perspective on your home and everything else.
100%.
Yeah, for sure.
No, she's absolutely the bad guy. Texas says, my wife gets mad if I decide to add Texas Pete to food she cooks. She takes it personally. See, I'm a guy who likes heat. I like some spice in my food. So, like, if I cook my Cajun stuff for the lady friend, I spice the crap out of the food after I take hers out and give it to her, and then I add hot sauce or cayenne or whatever I'm making into it. I don't take it personally that she doesn't want spice in her food. Why would you take it personally that I do?
By the way, if you look at the message board, I will be eating alone tonight. Thanks, Rob.
We're back after this on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. Don't put ketchup on your steak, you heathen.
QC.
Let me tell you about my friends at QC Kinetics. You want to get through a joint pain? You want to not have to deal with it, but you don't want to get that surgery? Well, then, don't. Call my friends at QC Kinetics at 864-448-3772. Mention the Rob Brown Show. Get that first consultation for free. And they're going to tell you how their non-surgical regenerative therapies can help you get past that pain without having to get sliced, diced, and cut open. It's just that simple. Ladies and gentlemen, go to their website, qckinetics.com, and find out how the science behind the therapy works. It harnesses your body's own healing ability to heal that connective tissue in your joints so that stuff stops rubbing and getting inflamed and causing pain, and it works. There are dozens and dozens and dozens of happy and satisfied and non-pain feeling QC Kinetics customers right here in the Upstate, and you can join their ranks. Again, call them, 864-448-3772. Mention the Rob Brown Show and get that first consultation for free. Get back to feeling better without surgery, without pain, naturally, with our friends at QC Kinetics.
Join me at Ingles Markets this and every Thursday from 3 to 7 with a special live edition of Offsides with Mark Ryan. This Thursday will be at 2212 Poinsett Highway in Greenville. Brought to you by Ingles Markets on ESPN Upstate.
Help managing your money for the life and years ahead. With Fidelity Income Planning, we'll look at what you save, what you need, and build a straightforward plan to generate income, even when you're not working. The plan will give you a chance to grow your savings and create cash flow that lasts. Plus, you can start, stop, or adjust your plan at any time without the unnecessary fees. Talk to us today so we can help you go from saving to living. Fidelity Local Services, NYSE, SMEC.
Only Wendy's serves a better breakfast with a better biscuit. Our hot buttery breakfast biscuits are loaded with a fresh cracked egg, cheese, and your choice of bacon or sausage. And right now at Wendy's, they're only $1 each.
I am eating alone tonight. It's all my fault, Miss Lisa. Please allow Lonzo to have dinner this evening.
I'm just joking. I'm fine. I'm good. I hope. I think we may be having steak tonight too. So I mean, that's just yeah. If we do, I'll make sure I send you a picture of ketchup on it.
Please don't. Please don't. I'll be sad.
Jeez, man. right, just enough time for one Twitter trending topics, and it is Graves.
Corey Uh-oh. I did not watch NXT. I have not watched. No, I watched SmackDown last Friday. And it was good, but I have not watched. I haven't seen. Where is Corey Groves?
He's on Raw. He's under fire. Things that he's been saying about female wrestlers, but mostly he's been talking about his fiance when she's on screen.
Is he saying like not good stuff?
No, he's talking about the most beautiful woman in
That's literally her tagline.
Yeah.
It's literally her tagline.
There's probably a little more to that, but a lot of people have been calling him misogynist and things like that. You know,
I mean, maybe, I don't know.
he's just
I haven't watched.
being a dude talking
Night Raw.
about his fiance.
I'm not in.
Yeah, you are. You absolutely are, and you
January
cannot.
3rd. Hey, go on by the Bon Secours Wellness Arena. Mark Ryan is actually there now. He's going to be broadcasting Offsides live from the Leo Santa Drive. Drop off a toy, get a buy one free one ticket, free ticket from the Greenville Swamp Rabbits for the December 18th game. Go on by, drop off a toy, help make a Christmas better for a kid. I'll be over there in a little while to come say hi. Thanks for listening, everybody. See you tomorrow. We'll try harder on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. Later, brother.